This podcast is part of the Big Heads Media Podcast Network. Go to bigheadsmedia.com for more great podcasts.
There is a podcast no one asked for. A podcast you never knew you didn't want. 3 beers in. This is the podcast.
I anticipate a deeply religious experience.
Welcome back, everybody, to another constructive episode of 3 Beers In.
Oh, nice touch. Constructive. I get it.
With me today is Clint.
Hello.
And today we have special guests.
Patrick Peck from San Gabriel River Brewery.
Nicole Vommaro with Habitat for Humanity of Williamson County.
Jacob Trimm from Barking Armadillo Brewing.
And everybody's here to promote
the Hops for Houses Craft Beer Festival.
That's correct. It's the Hops for Houses Craft Beer Festival. It's a fundraiser for Habitat for Humanity of Williamson County.
Okay. So we want to crack open our first beer?
Let's do it.
All right.
It's not going to make the pretty sound like yours fresh popped, but it's all right. All right. I brought 2 different beers for you. So I brought a hazy IPA that's double dry hopped, or I brought the coffee milk stout. We actually collaborated with 309 Coffee. I'll shout out to them real quick in Georgetown, Texas. They were the ones who gave us the coffee that we collabed with to make the beer. So
very cool. This guy hates IPAs, so
all right,
let's start with the IPA.
You want to start with the IPA?
He wants
get
to
it out of the way so I can enjoy the other 2.
that's his thing.
IPAs.
That's what he likes to do.
I'm not.
I didn't start out as an IPA lover, and then somehow the last couple of years,
I just can't get my palate to agree with it.
He's got to drink more beer.
That's solution to almost everything.
Can be, yes.
So how much orange juice is in this?
No orange juice at all. That's all hops, my friend.
Okay.
There's no juice at all. Nothing added. Just double dry hop.
So what hops did you use in this?
Got 4 different hops. So Idaho 7. Oh man, you're gonna quiz me on this. So I'm gonna have to pull up my little my head brewer. My head brewer's not here, so he's the one who could spout it off of memory. So
That's how I feel about the beers we make here.
Yeah.
Galaxy Eldorado Idaho 7.
Okay.
So we use those in the brew, and we dry hopped with all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tastes like it.
I'm a big fan of Idaho 7. I think you get that kind of juiciness from it. So
yeah, I feel that a lot of people misuse Idaho 7 because I'm not a fan of resin, but when you dry hop with it, you get all that fruit and everything. Mm-hmm. It's really nice.
Eldorado too. Eldorado's another great hop.
I love Eldorado. I love.
We brewed with that so many different times.
Yeah, I try to use it anytime I can.
Yeah, nice. It's nice and smooth too. It's not giving you the that over the top hop, aftertaste that stays there and ruins your palate. Which there's so many out there that are just way over the top.
That West Coast style. It's just kind of Some people love it. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like me a good bitter beer.
The brewery we do an English style IPA, so it's nowhere near that kind of. It's not
the really piney, resiny. Yep.
Yeah. It's you've got the flavor there, but then you get the hop right at the beginning, and then it melts off to the malt, and then you can continue and drink it again. You can have another beer, and you can still taste it.
Yeah.
I love that. What do you think, Clint?
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say, as far as IPAs are concerned, this is pretty mild. This is for someone who also does not like IPAs. You could definitely give this a shot and see what you think.
Appreciate it.
I'll turn you yet.
Just come out and drink with us more, man. I'll just keep feeding you IPAs until you like it or you
That's what my husband did.
You're just gonna eat it more.
You just keep drinking the IPA until finally you adapt to it.
At some point in time, you'll either be too drunk to care.
There you go.
You'll
and
love
it's
IPAs.
funny that out the brew we get people all the time that come into the tap room and say, I don't like IPAs, hated them, won't touch them and all that. And then all of a sudden now I've had a couple that I like, and now I'm on an IPA kick, and that's all that I'm drinking is IPAs. It's just funny how it works that way, but that is exactly how it seems to work.
Yeah. I found some I like, some I don't like, but yeah.
I mean, I think there's a good variety nowadays. I mean, it's not just that West Coast IPA that's just overly bitter.
Not all Sierra Nevada.
Yeah, it's not Sierra Nevada anymore. So, there's so many different versions
pretty
of it.
mild now.
Compared to some of them that are out there, yeah.
Hey, even Stone, I think, backed off on some of the IBU because the old Stone beer was just.
I remember,
that was rough.
The arrogant bastard, over 10 years ago, and that was
horrible.
It was unbelievable. Yeah,
I'm sorry, I hate to say that, but it was horrible.
Yeah.
I couldn't. I bought it once and couldn't even finish it.
That's what they were trying to do, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. So what is this called?
We don't have any names yet. We're still there. We're working on it, man. We're working on it. We're still trying to get the doors open. So
bad luck to have a ship with no name.
You can come up with a name. You name it. We'll throw it up there. So
Hazy McHazy face.
We also have a little fancy football thing going on. So the winner gets to name a beer.
Oh, nice.
So that's awesome. Part of the thing. So maybe they'll name this beer. Who knows?
Playoffs.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So Habitat for Humanity. What's it about? Because I know a lot of people have heard the name, but I don't think most people know what it really is.
I tell you, I've from people who have thought they knew what Habitat for Humanity is. I think they hear habitat as that first word, and they immediately go to, I love animals. Because habitats. So no, Habitat for Humanity of Williamson County, we're building affordable homes throughout the county for low-income families. Mm-hmm. We also have a repair program, so we go in and we provide repairs to current homeowners' homes, things like new roofs, HVAC, plumbing. Right. Patrick here is also our construction coordinator, Patrick Peck, the co-owner of San Gabriel River Brewery.
So I have 2 full-time jobs.
He's also our construction coordinator, and he can speak to more about those repairs. But we are partnering with families to help them get into affordable home ownership. Okay. As I said, they're low-income families, and truly is a partnership. It's a hand up, not a handout. Mm-hmm. So we have an application process to apply into the program, and there's requirements that they have to meet throughout the process, including financial education, volunteering. They have what we call sweat equity, 300 to 500 hours that they have to put in before they take ownership of the home and they close on the home, just like you and I.
They used to, I don't know if it's still like that, but they would help build the home, right?
Yes,
yes, absolutely. They have to be out there on not and it doesn't necessarily always at their home, but I mean we try to get them to come out to their home, but they'll help with other families, and get involved with those builds as well. But a lot of times, like the current one we're building in Taylor right now. We've had the current homeowner is there. The next build that we're doing in Taylor, which is the house that Beer built, that homeowner is there helping out. And then the next one after that we're going to be doing in Round Rock, that homeowner has been out there helping and doing everything, now. So, and that's kind of the way it works. We try to get them to get involved. And it's funny because a lot of them will continue to stay involved after the fact and continue to help. Even though they've got their hours, they get to it. They enjoy doing it, so they'll continue to keep doing it.
Well, yeah, it's a good cause. Yeah. Everybody wants to help out, right?
Yeah. And they can also volunteer in our office, doing some office support and in our restores. So we have a restore in Round Rock and in Georgetown. Mm-hmm. But of course, it's their home. They want to be part of the building of their home. That's part of the favorite part, I think, for many of them. And they spread out their time, because they work. All of them, have jobs. And so they can't necessarily be out there every Wednesday and Saturday. But they have a good amount of time between the time that they're brought into the program until the day they close on their house to complete those hours. So
yeah, what's that timeline typically like, just to give people an idea?
Usually it's from the time that we start till we usually turn the house over in 12 weeks.
12 weeks?
Yeah.
And so we're building the house in 12 weeks. Right. They may have been brought into the program, let's say, in September, and we didn't start their house maybe till October, November.
Right.
So it could be, maybe up to 5-6 months, but we try to keep it a lot shorter than that if we, if we can, just based on our build schedule. And,
weather related. I mean,
we've got crazy weather that puts us behind sometimes.
Every time we get ready to start building in Taylor, it rains. It's every single time. So it just seems to be the way it works. But we try to keep it within 12 weeks from the time that we start building.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. And how does craft beer figure into this?
So the craft beer community has partnered with Habitat for Humanity Williamson County for basically a campaign. It started in July. It's called The House That Beer Built. So Williamson County breweries are all supporting us in doing fundraising events and fundraisers to raise money to build the house. The House That Beer Built. This is a home that's going to be built in Taylor. It's going to kick off on January 15th. with all of the breweries coming out. And it's for a single mom of 4 kids for that particular house. And so they're all doing different things, pint nights, tap takeovers and events. Whitestone Brewery is one of our partners. On Sunday, they did an event called the Gingerbread House That Beer Built.
Right.
So it was a ticketed event where people were able to come out to the brewery. I think they got 2 pints of beer and, their kit for building the gingerbread house looked like a lot of fun. And so the proceeds from that event are all going into, let's say, the beer glass of fundraising to fund that house. So the festival, the Hops for Houses Craft Beer Festival, is the major fundraiser for that in partnership with all of those breweries and 20 plus others all throughout Central Texas coming together for the festival. And it's a ticketed event, of course, with all those proceeds all going into fund the house that Beer Built and hopefully also future homes as well with Habitat for Humanity.
And why did you choose the Williamson County Expo Center?
Honestly, it was the place that had the most indoor guaranteed space. We're holding this event on February 29th. And in Texas, you really don't know what you're going to get. I was part of an event last year. Let's see, it would have been like March 6th, I think, or 7th. Maybe it was like the first Sunday in March. It was a race, and it was, I think, the coldest day in Central Texas, especially in Georgetown. But it was, it was like 20 degrees or something like that. It was freezing
that day.
We still had 500 people come out. But anyway, thinking of that and what the weather could be like, I needed guaranteed indoor space. I'd love to have a festival outdoor like the
Texas Craft Brewers.
Texas Craft Brewers Fest. I've been to that.
And with San Gabriel Brewery, we just had ours here in November 2nd.
Beautiful weather.
It was a beautiful day, and you never know. I mean, it's but we've been very lucky, knock on wood. It's always done really well. So.
And the Expo Center, like I said, the indoor space that we rented out the entire facility except for the rodeo. We're arena part. So we have that. Yeah, I know. I was like,
no running around in the rodeo after you've had.
I could see some maybe wandering out there. So hopefully, maybe there's already an event happening over there that so we've got the entire Expo Center, the inside of it, and then also the covered expo. So we'll have the availability for food trucks. So you'll be able to, if it's a beautiful day, hang out, linger outside. But all the breweries and the vendors and such will all be inside the Expo Center. And it's also we're a county organization.
Yeah.
So it's actually the county's, the Williamson County Expo Center. So
that makes sense.
It's run by the county. And it's in Taylor, which is also fitting because that's where the house that Beer Built is going to be. Yeah. So, but we're hoping and we're seeing people, purchasing tickets from all over Central Texas. So we believe we'll bring in crowds from everywhere from San Antonio to Waco and maybe further north.
And how can people get tickets for this?
So you can go on to our website, williamsonhabitat.org, under events, and the festival's listed there. The tickets are available it's through Eventbrite. We also have it on our Facebook page. We have the event there with a direct ticket link to Eventbrite, Facebook at Habitat Wilco TX. Again, the event's on February 29th. 11 o'clock is...
Leap Day.
It is Leap Day.
Yeah. That's exactly why it was done that way.
And I can't tell you how many people have called my office, maybe of the older community, to say, does she know that that's not a Saturday in February? And so I kind of changed up some of the marketing images to say it's Leap Day and trying to come up with some play on words like hop on over to the festival on Leap Day, corny stuff like that, to just really let people know that, it is Leap Day this year on February 29th. And most of the breweries actually picked that day. Yep. We found that was, especially with the time of year and all the different things that are going on in the fall and Oktoberfest.
There's no festivals going on for the rest of the breweries. You get to March, and that's when
not a lot of Leap Day festivals going on.
No. And it's like right after, you got a time after Christmas, and then that silly Valentine's Day holiday. Not a lot of really going
time
on.
of the Valens.
Yeah. So, but anyway, so then the tickets are there. We're early bird pricing right now. So we have VIP and general admission on sale, $20 for general admission, $65 for VIP, which gets you early entry to the festival at 11 o'clock to kind of meet and mingle with the brewers. Access to the VIP area, which will have catered bites and other beer tastings available, as part of the VIP lounge and special parking, all that VIP treatment stuff.
And stuff like that from some of the breweries. I know that me as a San Gabriel, we're going to have one there. We're not sure what it's going to be yet, but we're going to have something that'll be probably something that nobody else has. So
yeah,
really, okay.
And, we can and welcome other breweries to bring in what they would like as well into the VIP area if they can. And like I said, some catered bites. And then the general admission starts at 12. It goes till 7. Like I said, we're going to have food trucks there. We're going to have live music. We've got 6 different bands that are going to be playing all throughout the day. And so it'll be pretty exciting.
All right. So how much Carbach is going to be at the festival? AB InBev is...
This is craft beer, not... Sorry.
No.
There will be no Budweiser there, I guarantee you. So.
No InBev, no foreign beers.
All right.
So. We do plan on having one. I know from Mars, from San Gabriel, we actually have one called Dillamach. And that is Irish Gaelic for sellout. And the reason we call it sellout is because the fact is that we swore when we started doing the brewery that we would never make a beer that in any way, shape, or form reflected a Miller Lite, Bud Light, or any of that.
Okay.
Well, unfortunately, because of the fact that it seems that everybody that comes into the brewery is constantly always asking us for what's the lightest thing that you have. So we finally decided to do one that was a light American lager. And that still has flavor with it. And it turns out that it has become extremely popular with everybody. So we just got the, today, hopefully, cross fingers, third time's a charm, getting everything through for TABC for label approval.
Yeah,
so, you would think, that I have nothing against TABC whatsoever. They've been extremely helpful, on our end.
I know they've gotten better over the years.
But when there's a mistake on a label, look, we're all human. We make mistakes.
Right.
It would have been a lot nicer when they sent me the corrections instead of me making that correction and sending it back to them and then them turning around and sending me, well, you got to correct this too. It would have been nice. Why don't we correct it all at one time instead of making, make us make. But, hey, it's government, so this is the way things work. So, but yeah, and we actually have for our special that we plan on doing out, it's actually a Roggen beer. So it's a rye.
Nice.
And we just finished it, and it turned out really, really good.
Yeah.
So my brother, which is technically the head brewer, he wanted to do a beer that tasted like pumpernickel bread.
Okay.
Nice. He just, and it really turned out, I'm not really sure it tastes like pumpernickel, but you definitely get the spice and the rye and everything out of the beer. And
Nice.
It turned out really, really good. So
exciting.
And did we know that today is National Lager Day?
Oh, yeah.
Damn.
Did not know that.
Yes.
I did not bring a lager. I'm
I
sorry.
didn't either. So
I only
Everybody
found
else.
out- I found out about an hour and a half ago at one of those chamber events where they always talk about what is today's
It's
day in
every
history.
day is a new.
Well, we've got a
something.
Kolsch.
True.
Yeah, we could bring up our Kolsch. We can sample that.
There you go.
So what are we having now, Jacob?
Oh yeah, so we're tasting again. It's the coffee milk stout. So we partnered with 309 Coffee in Georgetown, where we actually did quality control cupping. I don't know if anybody ever done that with coffee. It's pretty much you
plenty of cupping.
Yeah. It's like dry and then wet. Anyways, you sniff and taste and do all these different things to it to get the perfect coffee. So we chose from multiple ones to see which one works best. So we used an espresso coffee in this beer.
Cool.
And then we balance it out with a little lactose to get to kind of like the coffee and cream. So it's not it's a little bit smoother than your traditional stout, a little bit more.
I really like that,
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah.
it's nice and smooth.
And then, sometimes stouts get better with a little bit of warmth too. I mean, this is probably at still 30 degrees, 38 degrees, 40 degrees. Probably a little bit better at 50, but yeah, it's pretty good. We've been doing this one for a couple of years now, actually. So it's been the bread and butter of ours for a while now. Not with the coffee. We just partnered with them with that coffee.
Oh, okay.
But, yeah.
What was the pumpkin one the pumpkin coffee? Or?
So yeah, we were pretty much the same beer you're tasting here,
Yeah.
but we added pumpkin spice to it just to kind of, because we did an event at 309 where we just gave away a bunch of free beer promoting.
Everybody loves pumpkin spice.
Yeah, so you just
I think it's the
pumpkin
free
spice
beer
flavor.
that-
You get a little flavor and just you gotta get the perfect amount of spice sometimes in these beers, and then it actually came out pretty
Feels
good
like
too,
it tastes like it's already got a little bit of pumpkin spice in there, like a little spicy note, maybe.
That's
That's what I was thinking.
Nutmeg.
I was thinking that
Yeah.
there's a spice into it. From
So actually, you get that from the coffee beans. This is the one thing that out of my world that I learned a lot doing a QC cupping.
Yeah.
And you get different notes from different ones. So one of another beer that we like to do that we off of this stout, Stone does one called Shaka Vista, I believe is how you say it, where it's like a Mexican hot chocolate stout.
Right.
And we make one similar to that. But there's a different coffee blend that goes better with that if we choose to do that. It gets a little bit more of that dark fruit, that plum, and all that kind of flavor. So I think this kind of brings a little bit more of the spice flavor.
Yeah.
And it comes across in the beer well, and then we'll see how the next one does. So we haven't got there yet. So typically this is the time of year we make the Shaka-Best.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah. Colder times.
Yeah.
And darker beers.
Yeah.
You can drink dark beer any time of the year.
I completely agree with that, but sometimes in August I am definitely more than the lighter beers.
All right, so Jacob, since we're drinking your beer, how did you get started brewing?
I'm not the head brewer, but we all started from me because really from my wife. Her father used to have a homebrew kit from Austin Homebrew here.
Yeah.
Me and my wife started dating, and he pretty much was like, "Here, you want to try this one day?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I love beer, so let me try to make my own." And my best friend and me just started brewing, and now 6-7 years later, we're still brewing and opening up our own place together and kind of going about that route. But yeah, just really home brewing. I have no past history at all in the craft beer world.
Right.
I'm a nurse by trade technically, and my best friend who brew with me does oil and gas. So we both kind of quit our jobs to do this.
Wow. So
That's awesome.
This is your first foray into professional brewing, huh?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. How hard can it really be, right?
You say that now.
Yeah, I know.
Ask the guys from Hop Squad.
Oh, man.
They've had a hard time getting their brewery going.
Yes, I was just talking to him here. They were supposed to come to our festival, and
Alex
it was Alex, and he was like, all set up to go and all that, and next thing you know, he calls me and said, the city just shut us down.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay. He's like, yeah, we didn't have that. He went through a whole spiel, and you could tell that he was just like
frustrated,
very frustrated with trying to get everything done.
Yeah.
So but I have had they were at the Craft Brewers Fest, and I have and their beer was really really good. I mean, it was
I've liked
right
everything
on point.
I've had from them,
except that one with the sage, right?
Oh God, anything with sage I hate.
Yeah.
So
that sounds like it's kind of the same idea as like
with me
people.
on
Yeah, I hate rosemary as well.
Clove can be the same
no.
idea. A little bit of clove goes a long.
I know
ways.
somebody had rosemary. Rosemary. I can't remember what it was, but it was something light with rosemary. Everybody loved it, and I was like, "Here, try this." I'm like, "I don't like rosemary. Here, try it.
You're not going to like it if you don't like it. That's like telling somebody that, like I said, having somebody who hates cloves and then try our Christmas beer that has clove into it and go, you're going to hate it. And I want to try it anyway, but you're going to hate it, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they said, "How was it?" I was like, "I hate it." I got to be honest. I can't. I don't like it.
Well, if you don't like it, you don't like it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just one of those things. You got to be honest about it. It's like that's the thing is we have people come. I don't want to hurt your feelings.
Yeah,
tell me what your thoughts are.
yeah.
I mean, I'd rather hear your thoughts.
Yeah,
If there's
valuable input.
Yeah, I mean, that's
why you check your Untappd, right?
Right. Oh God! Don't even get me started on that. That is probably, and I'll get hate mail for this from somewhere. That is probably the most
Our listeners don't know about mail.
Unrealistic app that's out there.
Yeah.
We have had so many customers come into the tap room, and we actually had one girl that said, well, I don't give anything about, if I really, really love a beer, I won't, the best you'll get from me is a 3.
What?
And I'm like, but
ridiculous.
that's the hope. That's not the point of this system.
No.
If you really like it, then you should give it a 5.
Yeah.
At least a 4. I mean, and she's like, oh no, I don't give anything a 5. Nothing ever gets a 5.
That doesn't
Nothing
even
ever
make
gets
sense.
a 4.
It's not like beer.
And it's like,
Right.
well, why are you even on here? Because you're not actually
bringing down,
You're bringing down numbers. I mean,
Yeah.
we have an Irish coffee porter that we do, and we had the numbers on that were really really high. And then we had a bunch of people that all come in, and they basically were all telling us, yeah, we're Untappd, and they're like, oh, how'd you like it? I love it. And then we find out they're giving it like 2s and 3s, and it's like, well, wait a minute, if you love something, why are you giving it these low numbers and all that?
2 out of 2.
Yeah, and
the scale,
because they
right?
just don't. And they get right, their scale. They're thinking, well, my scale is this. Well, I don't care what your scale is. There is a scale that's set up here. You got to go by what their scale.
You're
is.
using the app. The app is 5-star scale.
Right.
You can't just
and it's even
arbitrarily
funny.
decide.
Yeah, we actually can even see there are a couple of them that posted on there say this is one of the best beers I've had, and they gave it a 2. I mean, that
It's
makes no
like,
sense.
It's one of the best beers I have, but I also hate beer. So
yeah. So I'm going to give it a 2. Yeah, instead. Yeah.
Honestly, we operate on a binary system, though. We do, it's 1 or 0.
and they should think about about switching to that. It's either you'll drink it again or you won't.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that.
Makes
Yeah.
sense. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just. I mean, there's ways of being fair about it, and I just don't think that the Untappd system really is a fair judgment of because we've had people go, "Well, I ain't gonna try it because your Untappd number is like not more than a 4." I'm like, yeah, but everybody's taste is different.
Yeah.
So what somebody else doesn't like, you may love.
Right.
Somebody actually might like a rosemary beer. I don't know.
That's right. Or
Some people
People do that.
I
People
don't
do.
get it.
Hey.
I don't get it.
Yeah.
so
It's not for me, I know.
Yeah, it's.
I mean, I'll
it's
try
funny.
it.
It's just funny to see, especially after Craft Brewers Fest. I always go back and I after Craft Brewers Fest, I always go and look at Untappd because I mean we ran out of our beer this year, relatively early. I think there was still an hour plus left in the festival, and we ran out of beer. So giving the taps out and it's like you go back and look the next day, and you know that you've got I'm going to have all these, and you get all kinds of them, and it's like. They don't do anything. They they'll put a number, but then they don't.
Oh, I
they'll
hate
just say
that.
or they just drank the beer.
Yeah.
And then they don't give it a number at all. And I'm like, well, why are you even on here if you don't do that?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like you're not helping any. You have 600 and something people that tried your beer, well, but you only had 10 that gave it a rating. Well,
I didn't even know you could leave like comments and stuff for like the first 6 months that I had the app.
Yeah.
I was just like giving stars, and I'd use the little flavor
I
profile
never
stuff.
did any comments at all.
Yeah,
It was just stars.
I actually one of the ones, and this is
Try to
probably
be
a
helpful
plug.
to other people. But
This is probably a plug, but Pint Hub is one that I have found is really, really good. Their rating system is much better, and I mean, you can actually, it's nicer to track everything with it too. I think with that, I think that's really good.
I met the Pint Hub guy at Hop Squad actually.
Yeah. He was actually out to our festival. I was talking to him for a while
Cool.
and everything like that, and he's like, I just want to, we're out here to try to, promote the stuff, and try to make sure everybody's getting the information that they really need, because that's what he didn't like Untappd, because it doesn't give you the proper information. I mean, there was so much misinformation on our Untappd that we try to get changed, and we're the brewers, we're telling you what this beer is supposed to be, but yet you're going based off what other people putting on there. That's not correct. I mean, it's the wrong information. And they're like, well, we'll go back to them and ask them if they want to change it or not. And I'm like, but it's wrong.
It's already there.
So,
Wow. Okay. Tangents. Wow.
Tangents, yes.
Anyway.
You said
Hate mail.
Untappd. I'm going to get hate mail probably now because I was mean to Untappd.
That was good stuff. We want that real stuff. Anyway.
Yeah.
You probably get this a lot, but when are you planning to open, Jacob? When's Barking Armadillo officially?
Barking Armadillo hopes to open at the end of January, 1st of February.
Cool. Okay.
That's on. Well, I mean, Patrick over there got me worried that the city's going to come shut me down for some random reason.
What? That's a different city. That's
Georgetown.
Georgetown.
We're in Georgetown. We're in Williamson County. We're Hop Squad's in Austin. So who knows?
I try to answer the questions that I can answer if I can. That's for sure. I mean, dealing with the cities and stuff, and knowing everybody. It depends on the inspector that you deal with at that certain day. I mean, it might be great that day, and the next day you get a different guy and go, well, I don't like that, and you go, but the other guy said it's okay.
It's okay. Yeah.
Nope,
So
it's not okay. It's like
Yeah.
then you want to start pulling your hair out.
Yeah. It's been like that. We've been kind of plugging away for a while now. I mean, there was a major gas leak in Georgetown. I don't know if anybody heard about that at one point, which kind of put us back 3 months, and then you keep going from there. But so far, so good. I mean, we're doing a lot of the work ourselves as much as we possibly can.
Right, yeah.
So we're up there. I mean, I quit my full-time job and doing construction all morning.
Well, you got to do something out to fill the day, right?
Yeah. I mean, pulling nails and doing things I've never done before. So
reclaimed wood.
Yeah.
He fits
Not
right
so
in
bad.
with Habitat for Humanity.
Yeah, I can hammer something, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But,
I said we do the same thing. So that's my background in construction and everything. I mean, that's what I was before I was a brewer and all that. I mean, and it's we don't hire anybody to come out and do any work for us. And we've built the brewery building. We just put a huge addition onto the building, and we did it all ourselves. I mean, I'm not hiring somebody else if I can do it myself. So
yeah.
That's the way the guys at 12 Fox are. But,
You got a YouTube nowadays, man. You can just YouTube it all. I mean, wait, how the hell did I do this? YouTube. Oh, okay, sure.
Figure it out.
that works sometimes.
Yeah.
So what's something you guys are working on or that you have, made that you're really excited for people to try?
That's a good question.
All of it or just...
Honestly, at this point, all of it. Because not that many people got to try our beer in the past, especially not in our community. As I'm fairly new to the community in Georgetown. Just lived down the street in Austin for a while. We've done a couple. I brewed for weddings and events, and we used to have this little event where I lived in Mueller, which is kind of central Austin.
Yeah.
And we used to have little events there. We would brew and just give away free beer since we can't make
nice.
any money off it. I guess technically I can now since I have all my licensing. We still give it away. But yeah, I don't know. In one particular beer that I'm excited about giving away, that's a good one. We do a lot of everything. I mean, we do everything from saisons to stouts and a variety of each, and IPAs and pale ales and all that kind of fun stuff. We just like a good variety. I think drinking as much as I can, as many different places around the world than I can. I like variety. I think, like as we've been talking about right now, one person comes in and they want a particular English style IPA, a rosemary beer. You gotta have a variety, even if you don't love that particular beer. I think that's where Colorado, of all the states I've been to, do it pretty well. They have from sour to funky beer and everything in between, and that's kind of the concept we're going with.
I always love when somebody has a sour on, or if they just do sours. I'm fine with that as well.
Yeah.
But yeah.
We currently don't, but when you're brewing in your backyard, it's a little bit harder to do sour. Yeah. So.
Yeah, ours come out pretty funky, I would say.
Yeah, well, we sour with Brett so far, and I think we're not.
Brett's great though.
I don't know if we're gonna do that too much anymore, but yeah, we got a cherry Brett in the fridge right now.
So, nice.
It's all right. I don't know. It's a bit bready. So
okay.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Work in progress.
No,
Yeah.
I mean it's still good, but I don't know if I like Brett as much
is it
as
good?
some people.
Is it really?
I don't know.
Yeah. It's beer.
It's beer.
We don't use Brett very often.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't think we have, honestly. I think back. So it's kind of overpowering yeast.
That's what we're finding.
It comes across too much sometimes. I've had some really great beers with it, but they found a way to balance it better than we could, I guess.
Well, you can always just buy the lactobacillus and just put it in and do it that way too.
That's true. Yeah. Anyway, so do armadillos bark?
They do not. It's always a good question. Armadillos do not bark. They actually scream. YouTube it. It's really great to watch an armadillo scream like bloody murder, but they don't bark at all.
Okay.
But it was just kind of a play on words.
Screaming armadillo doesn't really.
Yeah. And then everybody asked where you got the name from, and I promise someday we'll have a really good made up story.
Yes.
I was in West Texas in the middle of the desert, and this thing came up to me and started barking at me.
The honest truth is we were brewing in like 105-degree weather. We were drunk.
Done it.
And we just were trying to come up with names, and we wanted something Texas. We're both from Texas. We wanted to kind of represent that in our name. Armadillos are Texas animal.
Yeah.
So
they are?
We have Arnie.
That's
our mascot
From
out at
Texas
the brewery is
to,
Arnie the armadillo. He's out there every day. We watch him. Yep.
Texas to South America, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. It's our state something, right? State animal? State. It's a
State
something.
bird.
Man.
Wait, no.
State bird.
Wait a minute. Cut him off. Oh, he's only had half a beer and he's already sucking.
Mockingbird.
Yeah. So we'll come up with a really good made up story someday, but I won't lie to anybody at this current moment.
Not at this current moment. Okay.
Yeah.
Get him drunk and then maybe.
We've come up with some really good stories, elaborate, very detailed, but they won't be the truth. So
Texas has two state animals.
Oh.
It is
One
the
is armadillo,
longhorn and the armadillo.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
Okay.
Chime that in.
You can't
there.
do a lot with the longhorn because you can't have burnt orange. It's like copyrighted or whatever you call it. I don't even know what it is, but
slightly burnt orange.
Yeah, you can do slightly. You can do like that orange.
Slightly less burnt orange.
Well, the brewery wouldn't do so well. Sorry, y'all.
What the? More beer
Don't
for
go with
anybody?
the
Yeah,
longhorn.
sure. We can do some more stout.
Was there plans to have other plans out at the brewery, Jacob, in Georgetown? Other things you want to have out there?
So some of the things that we hope to have is we want to put kind of like some arcades, some darts,
nice. Axe throwing.
Axe throwing.
We've talked about that at Habitat, actually.
We potentially can.
Well, there's so much wood.
So we hope to have some other things besides just beer and so we want to have events and do all the standard stuff a lot of breweries do. Really, that's all about the community to me, and I think to play back on to the Habitat. I think the benefit of starting a brewery, and one thing that I've really looked forward to about starting a brewery is you can kind of involve your community, be a part of your community.
Really be a part of it,
we can give back to the community like what we're going to do for Habitat here. That's really nice. I mean, it's nice to be able to do that. I was a nurse for 11 years. You think I'd be used to giving back, but you don't do it in your own way. So being able to find avenues to do things for people or just bring people together. I mean, that's the kind of the fun part about trivia nights. And, I'm sure San Gabriel does a lot of different random things like that where y'all have just bring in the people around you.
Sure. We try to, live music and different events. We have every once in a while we'll do a Trivial Pursuit. One of the originals. I mean, one of the originals when it first came out, and we will get a bunch of the people in there. We'll just pull it out, and we'll just start asking questions.
Trivia from the 60s?
The 70s, and the 80s, and then we sit there and say, my grandfather used to be able to do this really good. Why can't you guys do it this good? We'll give you free beer if you can get this one right. And everybody just looks at you like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Spiro Agnew.
Yeah. That's a good answer, actually. There is an answer in there somewhere that I'm sure is Spiro Agnew. Wouldn't be the least bit surprised.
Yeah, I think it's the cool thing about breweries, right? I mean, that's I think a lot of people kind of fall in love with breweries and going places because it's kind of like a bar, but you can bring your kids and everybody can hang out and have dogs. You can all hang out and drink. It's not too rowdy. It's not too crazy.
You only have people dance on the bar once.
Yeah, there's only a few people pass out drunk and you have to call an Uber, but
I have to admit my kids who are currently almost 9 and 11, on a regular on the Friday would say, hey, are we going to Wrench or are we going to, I mean, that's just, is that what we're doing tonight? It's Friday.
They have so many board games.
They do. Between the board games and the big screen TVs that are bigger than my TVs, and they get access to all the different games and things that we don't necessarily have here on our regular cable. And speaking of events, Barrow Brewing is actually going to be doing, I think in the spring, they're going to be doing a Redneck Games Day.
Oh, wow. Oh, nice.
Okay. And
that's awesome.
That's all going to go towards the house that Beer built as a fundraiser. And so you can imagine if you'd like to discuss what those games might be.
Car shooting.
No,
drone shooting nowadays.
A road sign shooting.
Okay, road sign, okay.
Road sign. Or beer bottle road sign,
There you go.
Get the golf cart going as fast as you can and try to throw the bottle in it and see if you can hit the road sign.
That is harder than it looks, man.
It is. It absolutely is, yes. Or see how quick you can actually steal the road sign before someone comes along and sees you doing it. There's another good one.
I was just thinking along like, what is that one?
I'm pretty sure Barrow Brewing's not going to promote the road signs.
No, probably not.
No. Some
They
chicken
give
poo bingo.
you like a wrench or whatever. Like,
who can steal the biggest and best sign?
who can steal the best sign?
Everybody brings stop signs in.
There's been 1,200 accidents in Williamson County.
Might not be a good idea.
No, probably not.
Probably just washers, guys. Probably
just
washers.
Yeah, it's probably.
And some chickens.
Yeah, we can probably edit that part out.
Did she not say something about chicken shit bingo?
She did.
Yeah,
She
chicken
did.
shit bingo is amazing.
Yeah.
It's about strategy.
Yeah.
Right?
Really.
So I think that'll be at the Redneck Games.
Yeah.
Kind of sounds like it would fit.
No,
Yeah.
Yep.
That'll work.
Tipping. Maybe not
Cow
maybe not a
tipping.
real cow tip, not a real cow, but
Mechanical bull.
a mechanical
Tip
bull.
that over.
Yeah, that could be rather interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So, Patrick, how did you get started brewing?
Well, mine's not quite as elaborate as most. Again, my brother and me, we're from upstate New York. My brother, near Cooperstown, New York. Is where we're from. Little town called New Berlin, which is where Chobani yogurt actually originated from.
Nice.
I was hoping you'd say Rome, but
No, that's a little too far north, but not too far away. I mean, it's about an hour's drive from where we are. So
It's all cold there right now.
It's all very
Doesn't
cold
matter
there,
where.
and I'm very happy I'm not there.
Yeah.
My brother moved down here in 2002. He works for IBM, and when they closed down the IBM plant up in Binghamton, New York, they gave him an option to he could go to Poughkeepsie, he could go to Raleigh, he could go to Austin. And he said, if I'm going to pick up and I'm going to move, I'm going to move. He said, I ain't going to Poughkeepsie.
I really love the cold.
Yes, and Raleigh wasn't really all that much better at that point. He says, I'm going to go to Austin.
It's improved.
Yes. So in 2013, me and my wife decided that we didn't want to be in New York anymore. We had actually lived on my family's property. Actually, all three, my house, my parents' house, and my brother's house, when he lived up there, was all on our family's property.
Yeah.
And when we actually sold it, it was the first time it's been out of our family in 265 years. So it was a little bit tough to give that up.
Yeah.
But we knew that in just New York, you could see the trend of where everything was going. So 2013, we picked up. We moved down here. By trade, I was a custom home builder. I had my own business up in New York, and when I came down here, I started working for another custom home builder, building multi-million-dollar homes.
Right.
That was quite interesting. And then my brother decided one day, he says, I've been brewing the beer. I've been doing all this. He started doing it with my grandfather up in New York, and he was probably 17 when he started doing it. So he's been brewing beer by himself on his own for over 30 years.
Right.
And he said, let's just start doing this, with something that we can do together and all that. So it started off in my garage.
Sure.
And we were brewing enough beer that we couldn't possibly drink all of it ourselves. So we were continually just giving it out to anybody who would take it. And they were continually telling us, you cannot hold on to this stuff and not give it to everybody else, and maybe you can make some money on it, start a brewery. And we always thought, yeah, you're nuts. We don't have that kind of money. I'm not going to turn around. And, I know there's a big investment that's involved with that.
Sure.
And we just we weren't thinking that was going to be what we wanted to do. Well, we get enough people to turn around and tell you that you're really doing a good job. We got involved with the Austin Zealots.
Oh, yeah.
And started doing things with them. And we went to the Craft Brewers Fest this second year, the 2014 Craft Brewers Fest. And after we left there, we said, that's it. We want to be part of this.
Nice. Cool.
So 2015, we went and got all of our licensing taken care of. The brewery sits on 7 acres that is right next to the San Gabriel River, hence the name, the San Gabriel River Brewery.
Now it all makes sense.
And now it makes sense, yes. And again, my brother owned all the property already, so it wasn't like that we had to turn around and buy it. So we kind of have a little bit of an advantage over other breweries who are stuck in a warehouse type setup where they don't own the property, they're leasing the property. We can basically do what we want to do with it. It's ours. We actually opened our doors in 2016. Thanks to TTB giving us such a hassle about getting everything done and taking forever to get everything done on their end. And we opened the doors with a 20-gallon brewing system.
20 gallons.
Okay.
20 gallons. 20 gallons, yes.
Not even a barrel.
Not even a barrel.
Wow.
And
Okay.
everybody that we talked to told us that you guys will not last 6 months. Because you cannot possibly.
Thanks, Mom.
There's no
you're
possible
brewing
way.
a lot. I mean,
we were brewing constantly. And at that point in time,
All day, every day.
I decided that working for who I was working for was not the right fit, and I said, that's it. I'm going to quit. And I'm just going to concentrate on the brewery and get it to a point to where I know that it's actually doing really well and making money and all that. So within the first 6 months of having our doors open, we were actually operating in the black. So
Nice.
we were actually
That's
making
awesome.
money constantly, and the brewery was growing. And every year we have increased. The first year we increased a little bit more, increased a little bit more. We're at a 3.5 barrel brewing system now, which still isn't anywhere near the big guys. I know Jacob. He's starting off with his is the 10 barrel brewing system, and ours really needs to be probably closer to the 10 to the 20, just because we are an HEB now. Some of our stuff, we're constantly running out of beer. So our system is definitely undersized. But for what we're doing right now, we own this. We own it, and
Jacob knows about running out of beer.
Yes.
I just ran out.
Exactly.
So we just keep growing. We keep doing. We're constantly doing different events and everything. We built a big pavilion with a big stage.
Nice.
We just had our third year of our festival where we bring other breweries and everything into it. And this year was by far the biggest one that we've held. Only had 10 breweries total that were there, but we had about 900 people that came out to
That's
Liberty
awesome.
Hill.
Yeah.
Wow.
Which is, and a lot of people that had no idea that we were even there, because we are a bit off the beaten path.
Right.
And our kind of one of our sayings is that we may be a bit out of the way, but we're well worth the trip.
Nice.
And everybody tells us the same thing. They're like, "What? Well, you're way out here." And then they go out and sit on our pavilion, or they'll sit,
Closer than Jester King.
Jester King's out there.
Yeah,
Well,
and they
but
sit
there's
there.
a lot of, driftwood and dripping springs
Sure.
that are out there.
Yeah.
Out there, yeah.
It's kind of nice to have your own property. It's
just start
it's
calling
beautiful.
yourself
I mean,
a destination brewery.
Yeah.
Well, that's it, and that's it. We do, and we put that out there.
Yeah.
That's the case, and like I said, once most people get out there and they actually get there and they can see where we are and all that, they're like, we see why you're here. And the nice thing is, being that we own the acreage around it, it's all growing.
Right.
Everything is growing around us. So eventually, we're going to be locked in, just like Jacob. It's going to be, that's how it's going to be. It's all going to be around us. And there's so many new housing developments. I mean, we have one housing development being built now that's going to have 4,400 homes into it, so, and it's, within walking distance to the brewery. So that's all. It's all going to be working in our
automatic
favor.
customers, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And and then I got involved with Habitat for Humanity, Williamson County. I figured we got the brewery up and running. It's doing what we wanted it to do. Yes, I could have stayed there and continue to do more, but I kind of wanted to continue to keep doing more stuff and everything. And got the interview to come to Williamson County and for Habitat. And within 5 minutes of being into the interview, Nicole comes over to me. She says, "Where is your brewery and what do you have on tap?" Those were her questions because it's like the new thing that for you get interviews, you get to meet with everybody and they each get to ask you a question.
Sure.
That was Nicole's question.
Well, when he announced
good questions, Nicole.
When he announced he had the brewery, I was sitting there in the panel and I just closed my notebook and was like, "Okay, we're good."
So, you should have brought beer to the interview. I mean, that just seems like the appropriate thing.
Being that we're a Christian ministry, sometimes there are
Christians still drink. Let's not get that wrong.
Yeah, but I think
I'm Lutheran, so we really drink.
They're not Baptists.
Well, it's funny because I think there's only maybe 3 of us.
2. There's only 2 of us in the office. 3, including yourself. Yes,
including myself that actually drink beer. Everybody, nobody else drinks, and it's like,
oh wow.
So it was kind of funny because today our administrative assistant, she went to Nicole and she says, "Why is there a bottle of beer in the refrigerator?" And I'm like, "Well, that's for our podcast." She said, "That's for the podcast today." She's like, "Oh." She thought maybe she was going to be able to take it home or something like that. I was like, "Nope, you're not going to be that lucky today." So.
Nice.
But yeah, so I mean, that's it. We're continually growing, just about ready to finish up the addition we just put onto the brewery, which doubles the size of the brewery.
Nice.
Now we actually have a real cooler space and everything. Before we had like a room that was 4 foot wide by maybe 6 foot long, and all of our beer that we were brewing was all going into that room. So we basically had, half barrel kegs stacked on top of each other, stacked 3 high
to the roof,
so we could actually do, which is lots of fun when you need the one that's all the way in the back corner on the bottom.
But man, you're kegging a lot that way.
Yeah. So it's nice to have that, and again, we're just trying to grow, but we're trying to do it at a manner that we can do it without putting ourselves into so much financial stress that we can. And pretty soon, probably before the end of this next coming year, I will probably be at the brewery full time. That's kind of that is the overall plan.
Well, podcast now, it's like
Nicole already knew
out
that.
There.
You heard it here
it's
first.
like his boss. Your boss
heard it here first. Heard it here first.
No, she doesn't know that. And my boss has actually told me that I'm not allowed to quit. She's made that very clear. But Nicole's my work wife, so we work hand in hand quite a bit. So she pretty much knows everything that's going on in my life.
Make a decision without your work wife?
I would not make a decision without my work wife. He spends
the money, but he can't spend it until I get it for him.
That's right.
That's pretty much how it is.
That's how it works.
Although usually it's the reverse.
Usually it's the reverse, but
nice.
But yeah, so I am the other end from Williamson County for Habitat. I am the construction coordinator, so I handle all of the construction that Habitat for Humanity does within Williamson County. Not only the new home building, but I also head up all the repair programs.
Right.
He oversees all of the volunteers.
Yes, I oversee all the volunteers, which is another reason why most of the time, sometimes that's why I need to own a brewery, because I have to oversee all these volunteers.
No, we love our volunteers.
We do. We couldn't do it without them. We couldn't do it without the help of all of the different companies and everything that give donations to us, and that is wholeheartedly all that's all Nicole. I mean, Nicole works her rear end off, making sure that she gets, we have the funding, and it's not always an easy task. I mean, there's many days where I've seen Nicole sit at her desk and just sit there and shake her head, and go, what,
where's the money going to come from?
Yeah, where is it going to come from? And it's
let's have a beer festival.
Yeah,
that'll do it.
And I think I'm causing her more stress by giving this, but it's I think the festival is going to be a really, really good thing. It's going to bring something that Williamson County has not had before.
Right.
At least not on this scale. And hopefully it's something that can be continued, for years in the future and everything like that too.
Yeah.
So even if it's not for the Hops for Houses, it could be something very similar to that, but still benefiting
but it's
Habitat.
by Habitat. So
Right.
we've not had our own signature fundraising event. People always ask me, well, what's your big annual event that you do to raise money? Or what are your big events? We're like, well, we're building a house every Wednesday and Saturday. So we're pretty busy with those kind of events. So organizing something like a big fundraiser is hard and it takes a lot of work and a lot of hands. And so when we were discussing it in the last year, kind of through our strategic planning and how do we want to see things happen in the next year, everybody said we got to find a fundraiser, something unique, something different. Everybody's got their dances and their barbecues and their auctions and their golf tournaments. Please don't give me another golf tournament. So
Whitestone does a golf tournament.
I mean, and they're successful, but anyway, so we wanted something that was going to be different and unique. And in Williamson County, it was time. As Patrick said, we're
growing a lot.
We're growing, and we've got so many breweries
not
here
just
now.
the breweries, just people. Good
Right.
Lord.
People in the community
it's
and
just constant growth.
so it was a good fit for us, not only because we have, obviously Patrick, who is in the brewing community himself and has the ties to the others, and my love for craft beer itself. You mesh those two together, and why not? And if I was going to do something, I was going to do something that was going to be fun. Well, for me originally. So, I think that this is a good fit, and it's something that we hope to continue in that partnership with the brewing community to help build more affordable homes for families in need.
Okay. So do we want to crack
We haven't
open
cracked the other one.
the Wee Heavy?
we got the Wee Heavy there. We really want to.
We heavy, yeah.
Are you commenting on the hazy?
You can give honest criticism. I'm okay with it.
This is
man.
the most of an IPA
Actually,
I've seen him drink, I think.
Best IPA I've ever had.
Oh, wow. I appreciate that.
Real, look at that.
I'm going to go ahead and shout out to my head brewer, Brian, and let him know that, hey, you impressed somebody, man.
That's
Good
great.
job.
We've
Good job.
brewed an IPA.
Yeah, it's better.
So your
Sorry,
own
Ross.
IPA.
Now I got. So he's going to do the Wee Heavy, which they
I know,
have.
it's only-
They have a Wee Heavy right now that
We
we're
do
working
have
on.
we do have
Oh, really?
We almost should have transitioned from IPA to stout to Wee Heavy in my mind. There's a method to the madness of when you do tasters.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to hop around. Like, no, you really have to kind of build up your palate, or you're going to get thrown off.
We were on that path until we decided to drink the rest of the growlers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with it.
There's beer here, so
Yeah.
let's drink it.
Yeah, so this is our Wee Heavy. This is what is a strong Scottish ale.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's 8% alcohol. It has a nine
Selling me
different
already.
styles of grain that are put into it. So it kind of gives it almost like a barrel aged taste, but yet this thing has never seen a barrel.
It's a bit peaty.
Almost smells like it's been in a wine cask.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
get that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is interesting. You ever try to
And that's-
throw it in a wine
that's-
barrel or something? I mean,
we're
just for the
thinking
fun
about
of it?
we thought about doing something, putting it in either a wine or a
rum. Man,
a rum
I
barrel.
like bourbon barrels, but man, rum barrels with beer and certain wine barrels with beer. Are
And
really-
the flavor that you're actually getting off that is the Edinburgh yeast. That's the flavor
really?
that
Gotcha.
you're getting off that.
Right.
Yes, and that's what kind of gives it the flavor of that. It's been okay. You've definitely barrel aged this in something, but it never been in a barrel.
Yeah, if you were to ask me, I'd totally think like a wine cask or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, we got one place, Sabino's Pizza in Leander, that has this on tap, and everybody says, "Wow, this is some really good barrel aged stuff." And I've had to explain to them it's not barrel aged, and they're like, "But they say it tastes like it's barrel aged," and I'm like, "But it's not."
it does. I mean, it really does.
No. This one has been a beer that we have brewed. We only do it once a year. So it's a one and done thing. If once it's gone until we brew it again next year, which usually it's done in November. So we just did it. So next November, if we run out ahead of time, that's the way it is. We don't do it any more than once a year. So first time we did it, it was okay. As they say, brewers, it's drinkable. So, I mean, second time we did it was a little bit better.
Right.
We changed out the hop. This is East Kent Goldens. Is a majority of everything that's in here,
Some
with
EKG,
with a just a very very slight fuggle into it. And
Okay.
That's
Oh, yeah.
does not
You get the
that's
bubble.
that's but you're not really getting any real over the top hoppy out of
Yeah.
it. You know, with a Kent Golden, you can get a very strong flavor off of.
Yeah, EKG is what we use in ours.
It's not like the best part about brewing to me is like cooking, right? I mean,
Oh, yeah.
you get to
Oh,
use
yeah.
the experiment,
Yeah.
and it's
Constantly
like
change it
you're
up.
constantly
Yeah.
critiquing yourself and like
Yeah.
be like, "This is a great beer." You know, the next time we brew that IPA, we're probably going to switch
Yeah.
it up some. I mean, and the God honest truth, we just want to keep improving in a little taste that you can make better.
Right. Well, and the thing of it is too is like with this, once you get your TABC licensing on it, then you really kind of really have to keep it where it is, because if you change it really in any way, shape, or form, you have to go back and resubmit it and all that. But we didn't do that until we actually found how we wanted it to be.
Yeah.
And we've continued to keep doing it. Again, we're being only 3.5 barrel system. This has got nearly 390 pounds worth of grain into it.
Yeah, of course.
So there is, and if we were doing this on a 10 barrel, you're talking, near 1,000 pounds worth of grain. Only brewing 10 barrels. So this is a rather expensive beer for us to brew. But that's why we only do it once a year. But at the same token in time, everybody really, really likes it. So
Yeah, I think it's a perk of having a smaller brewery, though. Like I mean, even 10 barrel to me, it's we're going a little larger, but to me, it's still small compared to a lot of these people out there. But we can play around more. Like you can experiment more. Most of the big brewers don't want to make this kind of beer because it costs too much.
Yeah,
and you're really not going to get your money back.
And if it's bad, you just brewed.
Yeah, exactly.
You just brewed 30 barrels of something that you can't get. That you got to dump down the drain, and that's not a.
And you're pushing it at every place in Austin and surrounding area. You're trying to get it on their taps and all that stuff. Or you really can specialize in something at your own brewery.
We've been lucky. We've only had 2 batches that we've ever had to dump, and I cried both times.
Well, if you've never had to dump something, then you're not a brewer.
Yeah, I mean, 120 gallons. It's not. It's not bad, but still, when you see they're going down the drain, you're going.
Well, 5-gallon batches. It's
bad enough. But
there's
you see the fact that
we got one
beer
of those
going,
right
then
now
you're
that we're
looking at what
still
it just
holding
cost
on
me.
to. That might get better.
Just let it age.
It's a cold. We're just letting it keep aging. We're not it's never going to stop aging.
And if we had one that unfortunately had we drew one that we call our Texas Red, and we had a bunch of bottles from when we were just doing experimentals, that when we found this and we did it, and I had stuff that was some of it was 4.5 years old.
Yeah,
of course, at that time we were bottle conditioning, so we had all kinds of yeast in the bottom of it.
Oh, sure.
Well, we got 2 in a row bad batches of Y yeast.
Man. What?
2 of them right in a row.
Do y'all use a particular yeast company, by the way?
I love Y
curious.
yeast.
That's just one. That's just we were just using at that
We're
point.
big Omega fan.
Yeah,
Like,
Omega's a good one
like
too.
Omega a lot.
White Labs, we were using that so that we
Omega, I use their Irish ale.
So and we just turned around and said, what are we going to do? It was like I was so upset about the fact that we had 2 different. I mean, we checked it. There was no sour. What it did is it soured the beer.
Sure.
And when we tested it and said, because before we put the yeast in the beer, we always taste it to verify, make sure that there isn't. And it tasted perfectly fine, but for whatever reason, it hit that beer and it soured it almost immediately. And of course, once it sours it, you can't. There's nothing.
No.
You're dumping it. And I said it happened 2 times in a row.
Blend it.
With 2 different batches of Y yeast, and we said that's it.
Wow.
So we turned around and took we had bottles from that were older, and we constantly now we repropagate the same yeast over and over again. So now the yeast that comes with our Texas Red is our own yeast. Nobody else possibly can have it. So which kind of, I guess that's a little bit of our thing, I guess, on that part of it. So.
Well, that's cool. Yeah. So I was going to ask how you decided to become part of the festival, but I guess you didn't really have a choice. Huh?
Right? We didn't have a
Nicole,
choice.
she put the collar on and she said, "You are coming with me," and that's it. But no, I mean, I really enjoy doing the festivals and stuff like that. We don't do anywhere near as many of them as I really would like to. Usually, I find out about the festival like a week before it's happening, and that's part of the problem where I'm doing 2 full-time jobs working for Habitat and the brewery. I'm not in as much of the community that I would like to be able to be, which is why I need to be there if I want the brewery to grow, and get bigger and keep going where it is. And when I first came to Nicole and talked to her about the festival, and I said, hey, look, this is just an idea. Is this something that you think that we could do? And I have to say her eyes lit up and she said, yes, this is something that I really want to do.
I had been wanting to do, I think, for a while. Actually, one of your festivals that you had 2 years ago, and the festivals that Patrick has had and the events that he's had, he's, one of the things that I can admire about the brewing community, and especially San Gabriel River, is that they do these events and they always give back to a charity. So they do a charity of choice to, give some proceeds to benefit them. And he was doing one for Habitat. And I remember going out there, not really knowing what I was going to get into that day. And then I got there and there were several of the breweries there. And I just started passing out my card because I thought, okay, someday we're going to do a festival for Habitat. I don't know what it's going to be called. I don't know what's going to involve. And it all kind of, in this way, came about through the House That Beer Built campaign.
Yeah.
We knew that it was going to be tied into that some way. But I remember going around with you and meeting all the different breweries and saying, hey, so that big event that happens in Austin, which by chance it actually benefits some of the Texas Craft Beer Festival. Some of the proceeds there go to Habitat for Humanity in Austin.
Yeah.
So different organization than ours. They do the same thing. We're all part of Habitat for Humanity, but they're doing their work in Austin and Travis County. And so, I got around and started talking to some of the breweries, and they were all like, yeah, let us know when you get to do that. And it was probably about 2 years later that we really started to make this whole thing, come to fruition. But he's always done, those events and given back to some type of charity or cause. So we appreciate that, especially, with Habitat now being the recipient of it. And that's kind of not really did I put the collar around him and say you have to do this, but sometimes he works across the hall for me. So
I do get the look every once in a while. I
can see that happen.
Yeah. So, and when Nicole says something to me, I jump and I come over and I talk to her. So
smart work, husband. Smart work, husband.
How's that work with my neighbor?
Yeah.
Can I throw something over the fence while you're brewing and say, Jacob, I need some beer?
Oh.
Anytime. We always have a surplus, my wife would say. So we have a 4-tap Keezer and a 2-tap kegerator in the house.
Whoa.
So currently we have 4 beers on tap. We had 5 until we tapped one the other day. We have 3 fermenting right now. So we keep ourselves busy.
Yeah. Well, you have to. I mean, you're opening a brewery, right?
That's true. It's true.
And once you open a brewery, you'll be like, you can't wait. You'll be going home and you're going, oh, and your wife's like, what are you brewing next? I'm like, I don't know. I just want to sleep. But I mean, that's for us to say. I mean, we're because we're small. I mean, and that has its disadvantages. It has advantages and it has disadvantages because we have to brew weekly. We have to. I mean, if we were there full time, then I could brew during the week. But we're not. I'm during the week. I mean, Habitat is great in the aspect of they basically give me a free reign to be able to do what I need. As long as I'm getting everything done through Habitat, I'm able to run around and get brewery stuff done and do do different things and like that.
One of the advantages of working for a nonprofit world is that you might not necessarily get paid that well, but you get the flexibility and
I went from a 6-figure job to not even close to that. But you know what? At the end of the day, I get much more out of working for Habitat than I ever did doing.
You don't work for Habitat for Humanity for the money. You work for it for the cause.
You work for the cause and because you enjoy it.
Right.
And just like any nonprofit, but
and to get people to come to your brewery. Right?
And to get people to come to your brewery.
And I've had a few. I do. I try to every after every work day. I always say, hey, you can come out to the brewery if you're working here. I will be more than happy to give you a free beer for coming out and helping at Habitat.
And several of our key volunteers have followed him up on that. There's a regular though. I think is it Wednesdays or Saturdays? They always meet up somewhere for some beers or wherever.
Yeah, they always do, but they don't want to drive to Liberty Hill. So
I mean, who really does?
Hey, now
you just want to drive to Georgetown for sure.
From Sun City to Liberty Hill, they don't want to drive after dark.
Yeah.
But what if somebody's in Liberty Hill, but it's not on Friday or Saturday, and they really want to visit your brewery?
Well, I mean, it's one of those things where if we're available, I mean, like I'm there every Thursday all day long. Fridays, I'm pretty much there good chunk of the day. I mean, I do have to go into Habitat in the morning, but if we want somebody that if they message us and say, hey, I want to be able to come and check things out. I mean, if we're going to be around, I have no problem. We'll do it. I had people the other day that called me and said, hey, I know you're not open yet, but I want to get some of your beer. Is there any chance that you're there? And I'm like, just happened to be that I was there, and I'm like, yeah, come on out.
Nice.
I mean, so I'm not gonna.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to turn them down just because we're not there. If we're there, if I'm there doing something, I don't have an issue with that. So But I mean, eventually, we're next year at this time we'll have we should have a full food menu as well.
Oh, nice.
Cool. Which will sincerely help us. And my brother's got in his head that he really wants to build a wedding chapel type setup.
Hey man, that's big business.
That's big business.
And he wants to be able to do that. We have the acreage to be able to do that and to be able to get down.
The stress of
have that. So so it's so that's part of
you have the acres. I mean,
we have the acreage. We got the
you might
space
as well
to do it. So and it's only money, right?
Yeah,
that's only money.
And it'll be
you don't
more
even
money
see money anymore. It's all computerized. It just comes and goes quicker than you think.
It's all just numbers on a screen.
Numbers on a screen. This is so true too.
Just like the Matrix.
Matrix.
Is that the Matrix? Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right,
So
now what are we going to drink?
This is our Kolsch.
Nice.
It's National Lager Day.
Nice.
This is the
Did you
closest thing
lager
we got.
this though? Because you don't have to lager every Kolsch, but
It's a bit green, I'd say. But yeah, it's been in the fridge for...
yeah, we have a Kolsch that we don't lager.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. We've done that many times.
Well, we used a pseudo lager yeast. This is actually Kavik, so...
Okay. Yeah.
So it didn't actually need lagering.
Yeah, the last one, the one that I said that's still sitting there is actually a Kolsch. We use the Omega Kolsch 2, and I think it's more of a lager.
Yeah.
So that's the one that's a little green and has to just sit for a while, and that's all right.
So this started out pretty hazy, but it's cleared up
it's clearing
quite a
out.
bit. Bottle conditioned, though, so you don't really want those dregs.
Yes, no.
Unless you like brewer's yeast. I mean,
we don't bottle condition. We force carbonate, but yet you'll
Right.
still get. We don't filter any of our beer. So
Right.
you will still get, in some of the bottles, some yeast that will fall out of it, and and stay in.
That's good for you.
Well, we had people the other day that emailed us. They bought some of our Texas Red at HEB, and they drank the whole
Save
bottle.
that yeast.
Got to the end of the bottle, and they dumped it out. They said, "Oh, they dumped it on a plate," and said, "Is this normal?" I'm like, "Yes,
100%.
yes, that's 100% normal." I said,
Yeah.
"It's not going to hurt you. It's only yeast."
Not all of us have like InBev's fancy equipment that can filter everything on demand. So.
Yeah, giant centrifuge. We could use one of those for this, but it's still good.
it's a bit too floral for my taste, but the next batch will be better.
You know what? That's you can always say. So we can do a little bit better next time.
I think every person who's ever brewed will tell you the exact same thing.
Right.
Even if you say it's the best IPA ever, I can tell you that my head brewer is already thinking of ways he can improve it.
Yeah.
100%. 100%.
Well,
I just
It's
think
just constant, right? I mean, that's cooking,
with-
right? You always want to try to, well, if I change a little spice here,
Yeah,
I change
I
a
think-
little this here. I mean, I think it's good. I mean, there's floral, but it tastes good. I mean, but the floral's got to be more from the hops. What hops did you use?
Hallertau, Middle
Yeah.
Fruit, and Laurel, actually,
Laurel.
at like about 30 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, no flavor, aroma.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I don't know
There's
why.
also
but-
been like the Wee Heavy was in this before, so
Yeah.
who knows
Sure.
how all these are playing together in
But
the
Yeah,
I
aroma.
can't figure out.
Maybe I should invest in one of those little, like,
you need a glass washer up
glass
here.
washer. Just every time you podcast, you just wash your glass. You can keep the beer going.
In the
Yeah.
back.
That and probably a kegerator up here. I mean,
Yeah.
you might as well have it on.
Well, we had a mini fridge, but it
It broke.
Broke,
Almost
so it
as soon
crapped
as we
out.
got it. Yeah.
I would
Almost.
suggest a Keyser over a kegerator because you always end up getting more. And so a Keyser's actually cheaper long term. So
Nice.
it wasn't
Okay.
too hard to build.
Yeah.
Just FYI. Yeah.
for the podcast we mostly are going buying cans or bottles anyway, so just a fridge to keep that stuff
Yeah.
cold. Kegerators would be good for the or something for the
We'd probably
for
have room
brewing.
for, yeah. Well,
Yeah. See, we used to do that too, but we now have a very strict guideline that says until the brew day is done, you don't drink anything. Because I know it's terrible, but
How do you brew?
Yeah, it's. But
I'm not sure if I like this policy.
I
I don't know if I'm going to write this in my
it's tough though,
my
especially
company's
when
guidelines
you're
here,
doing
so.
like an Irish coffee porter or you're
Yeah.
doing a honey porter and you forget to tighten tighten one of the hoses
Yeah.
down as you're
yeah.
transferring, and next thing you know, you got
Makes
a hose
sense.
blowing. Honey porter all over the ceiling and all over the walls and all over the tanks. And
Scrape it off.
You're trying to, and instead of turning around and turning the pump off, which would be your normal thing, but because you're 4 or 5 beers in at that point in time, you're just trying to stick that hose back on and clean it on. Yeah. Yep.
I can totally see this in action.
Yeah. You really should have had a camera for this.
Decided probably. Oh yeah, this was when we were. This was not since we had the big system. Thank God, because that would have been a huge mess.
Yeah.
But this was the 20-gallon system, and you're sitting there trying to get that hose back on, and there's honey porter stains all over the walls and all over the floor.
That's good.
Trying to clean it up. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. We laughed.
I mean, we were laughing.
Oh, we were laughing.
So you laugh when it's 20 gallons. You don't laugh when it's 10 barrels.
No.
You cry a lot.
Yes. Well,
And you cuss probably more than you should
laugh
on this
at the time,
podcast,
and then you
so,
look at it and
yeah.
go, "Oh shit!" And then you got to think, "Who's going to clean this crap?"
Yeah,
up?
that's what I would be thinking
That's
about.
because it never happens.
The money's
with
one
beer.
thing, but
never.
the cleaning aspect behind it,
And it never happens with the light stuff. It's always the dark
always
beer.
the dark, yeah.
Always the dark beer, because that makes the biggest mess, and it's always the stickiest because it's prior to fermentation.
All that
so
sugar.
all that sugar in it. Oh yeah, it's making a hell of a mess. Yes. And gets all over the burners and gets all over.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Because we're
Burnt sugar, man.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing is that we're still a gas-fired brewery. We're not steam or anything like that. It is we actually have the burner under the
We'll be doing burner too. At Tim
so
Grill,
I actually there's nothing wrong with anything. It's a steam system because eventually we go big enough, we're going to have to go to a steam system because the burner you just can't get the efficiency out of out of the burner by doing that. But
I like the control you have of the gas.
Yeah, I mean it is. We do. I mean, we were able to control it really nicely, and we can still do it with the system that we have. That's the nice thing. But once you go above 10, you can't. Most of them they tell you can, but they tell you to stay away from it because it's just extremely inefficient.
Yeah, even at 10, they were kind of borderline, but I think we'll be all right. I mean, yeah.
So, Jacob, well, we've all talked about it being like cooking, but the thing is, with cooking, you don't have to wait 2 weeks before you sample it, right?
True.
That's
Who waits 2 weeks?
you got to make sure it's carbed.
Yeah.
Well,
The yeast only takes a week,
Yeah,
and
once
then
it's,
you can taste it. It's just not as good.
you got to wait. You constantly got to test it. I mean,
always
there's
force carb
quality
all that
control
stuff,
that has to happen here. I mean, if you ever meet a brewer who says he doesn't
gravity
doesn't do
sample.
that, then you don't. Yeah, gravity samples. You're always taking that. I mean, we do it. We do it once a week.
Yeah.
Anything that we're brewing, it's usually once a week. We let it the first week do what it's going to do, and then that Friday as our normal brew day is usually on a Saturday. So usually the Friday or Saturday, then we'll pull off a gravity and test it, and we have to make sure it's all good, and all that because it's beer. So
Right.
it is beer at that point in time. So
you have to enjoy tasting beer. I always get frustrated when I go to a brewery and you go to like the bartender or whoever they are. You're like, hey, can I, what beer do you suggest? Well, I don't really like beer. I'm like, what the hell are you working here for? Like, what's going on in this place?
That was one of the things.
You got to try it. You got to try it like every week and let me know what it tastes like.
That's right. I mean, that's one of our things, and that's why right now, for us, it's my brother, it's me, and then my oldest son, and those are the only three that we run the tap room because we have yet to find anybody who we're going to hire to do the help do the tap room and everything like that. That is willing to go back in and actually learn about the beer. Most of them don't want to learn about the beer. They just want to
go and brew with you.
It is. I think it is because if you're up there talking to the people that you're serving this beer to,
the beer.
You want them to know what the beer is that they're serving because these people are asking questions. I mean, I have not met
the public is more knowledgeable than ever. I mean, they know different,
they have
hops and
Untappd
different
right
things.
Untappd.
Oh my God, everything. I mean, shit.
Yes, it does.
You got to be ahead of the game, but no.
But yeah, no, you're 100% correct. I mean, that's the thing is that you're not going to bullshit these people. You can try, but it's not going to happen because most of these people are knowledgeable enough to know that there are certain things, and if you give them some bullshit answer, they're going to know that that's what you're giving them.
Or you educate them, and then they become more knowledgeable, and then they keep coming back. I mean, all of us were there at one point, and we're like, oh, we like beer. And then we start learning and learning and learning. It becomes an addiction, and that's what we hope to inspire into our customers. So, and
I think a lot of
that's how Cicerone makes money, right?
Yeah. Well, and that's right. Well, my brother is he's on his second set of Cicerone.
Yeah.
I've done my first section of Cicerone, and
the second one's a tasting, though, right?
Yeah, the tastings and stuff like that. That's the one he's hard. Yeah, that's a little bit harder.
Where they bump up the price, like
yeah.
So price and tasting.
He wants to. He's working towards being a master Cicerone. That's his ultimate goal is to become a master Master Cicerone because there's only
a lot of respect there.
There's only that right now. There's only 2 that we know of in the state of Texas, and Jester King, the head brewer at Jester King, is one of them.
Wow.
Okay.
So, and the other one is somewhere up in
I don't think my
Dallas.
taste buds could go there.
Of course,
like
Dallas.
I love beer, but I just don't think I can pick up the notes like that.
Yeah.
No.
So
it can be. I mean,
Then it takes the fun
the
out
more
of
he's
beer.
been
I mean,
doing, the more it's funny.
You watch the wine one, and you ever watch the Netflix wine one?
Yes.
They spit it out. I'm like, no, I'm not going to
Yeah,
waste
spit it out.
alcohol.
It's wasting the alcohol. That's right. What's wrong with you? And I mean, the thing is that's one of the things my brother was like. He's looking at it is, not only is he the head brewer, but if he's got this knowledge, it's only going to help us, as a brewery to make things even better.
Yeah.
But then he can also turn around and he can help other brewers do the exact same thing. I don't personally intend on ever becoming a Master Cicerone. I like to go, at least go to the second level. I mean, and that's because there's a lot of places that I have seen that are require their servers to become at least first level Cicerone.
I've seen that too.
So,
and we even debated that when we were talking about hiring people, but I don't know if I like that as much. It's just.
I just want them to be knowledgeable.
I want them to be knowledgeable
Right,
about beer, but
especially about the beer that they're serving. And that's extremely important to us. And you can be the cutest girl out there. Nothing against the guys that are serving beer, but I mean, study shows that if you're a cute girl and you're serving beer, you're going to draw customers in. I hate to say that, but it is the truth.
Backed up by data.
I think we would all tend to agree with that. Even Nicole would say, "Yeah, that's true."
Pretty much.
But
I always go for the cute bartender.
But I want you to be knowledgeable in what you're doing. Too,
Right.
I 100% agree.
And,
that's a huge criteria for us. So as we look to hiring people here in the next month or so for the tap room, I don't want someone who's just good looking. You need to
right.
I don't care if you're that good looking. I want you to know what you're serving.
Right,
I mean,
because
you wouldn't go to a
people care more
restaurant
about what's in this
same
beer
thing.
and what kind of beer it is, and explain the
at
beer
least have
to
a
me.
general knowledge of what it is. I mean, I'm not saying you got to know what the hops are and what and how it's how many minutes we boiled it or something like that. I don't care. That's not necessary.
Yeah.
But I want you to have a general knowledge as to what you're actually serving somebody because those questions get asked all the time.
Yeah,
And learning about beer is fun.
Yeah, it is. It is.
So much history and everything, and just chemistry as well. It's like,
And we stay.
and
That's
just-
one of the things for us too. Is that we stay within. We try to stay within the guidelines of different specific beers. We are not a Belgian beer brewery. We are not an English beer brewery. We do Belgians. We do Germans. We do American. We do there's everything. We try to keep everything. We do Irish.
If you brew a Kolsch, do you call it a Kolsch?
Well, we would. Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
You shouldn't. Yeah. You got a little technical there with you.
Yes.
Technically, you shouldn't.
Technically, you shouldn't because it's not. Yeah, the way. But
we're not a part of the
That's
Kolsch
like making. That's
convention.
like doing whiskey but calling it a bourbon, right? Or calling it a.
But I believe in keeping it at least. If you're
Scotch.
if you're brewing
You can't
a
call it
style,
Scotch.
if you're brewing a style of beer, it should be at least within that style group. But we're not going to limit ourselves as
the
to
Germans
just
are too
one
strict
style.
anyway. So.
Well, yeah, that's
even their law is probably going to go away.
Well, it's just like
Oktoberfest.
Oktoberfest. I mean, an Oktoberfest is more like a Berlitzer Weiss, or that's what now they've switched from going from a Marzahn to a Weiss style beer for an Oktoberfest. It's all
easy
lighter.
to drink all day. Yeah.
Well, it is. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean,
when you drink as much as the Germans, you got to find a little bit lighter.
Hey, I am looking forward to the day where we get to go to Oktoberfest. We were supposed to do it this year.
Have you been to Germany?
No, we have not.
Man.
No, but it is.
Let me tell you,
on the list.
I felt like a fool that we're so the public.
But this
knows, we're drinking
isn't even a
pints.
beer.
They wouldn't even call this a regular beer.
Right.
You would walk up, they say, "Oh, girls' beer or man's beer?" And I'm like, "Well, shit, I guess I'm drinking a man's beer." And of course, it's like a liter every time. So you're just like, okay. And then you sit down, and I remember one time my wife and me were in Munich, and I look over, and she must have been like 90 years old. Boom, a liter beer. Just drinking it. Barely could lift the damn thing, but she would drink it. And I was like, okay, I guess I never can switch away from this beer then for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
So.
You have to get bigger.
That's
2 liter.
my whole thing on the
Here we go.
Kolsch or not Kolsch is like, what are they going to do if I call it a Kolsch? Nothing.
I don't think they can legally sue you. So.
Yeah, they can't. They can't. We're American. They can't touch us.
Yeah.
I think we're supposed to call it a Kolsch style beer, but
Well, if you're going to TABC, it would have to be a
TABC would make
Kolsch
you
style.
style.
I just
actually
went through
enforces
this
that?
because we do a Belgian blonde.
I think it is
and
copyrighted.
we call it the
Belgian
blurry-eyed
style.
blonde.
Okay.
You can't put it as a Belgian blonde. It has to be a Belgian style blonde.
Yeah.
And that was my mistake. I knew that, and I screwed up and didn't send it in the way I was supposed to. So it's all on me.
That actually I'm a little bit more disappointed in TABC after hearing that. Like that they enforce it that strictly.
I think so. It's like coffee. It's like Scotch, like whiskey and Scotch is almost the same.
Because it has to be if you put a Belgian blonde, that means it has to be been actually brewed in Belgium. That's where that is their rules. That's the way. I don't necessarily.
Hey, I love Belgian beer, so I respect what they're trying to do.
Yeah, I mean they just want to make sure that you're not giving somebody
good beer. So
and our Belgian blonde, I have to say, our Belgian blonde is pretty good. So I have to. I'm not biased in any way, shape, or form. Not at all. We originally called it our hazy blonde because it is a Belgian ale yeast that we utilize in it. Belgian style blonde, yes. But so with that yeast, it was a little bit hazier. But as it's aged out, we looked at it and went, well, we can't just call it a hazy because after it's aged for a couple months, it's no longer hazy anymore. All the yeast is falling out of it, so it's like, okay, so we'll just call it the blurry-eyed blonde. So
nice,
but you can drink it if you're a brunette too. So just
good to know. Ain't catchy names, man. We got to work on it.
I know we're pretty simple. We call our wee heavy. We call it a wee heavy. Eventually we'll come up with some better names, but we have one our black cherry stout. We call that the grown ass man stout.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which you got to be careful of that though, because which brewery does
Tups. They are full grown. They're a full grown man. Yes, we actually had the grown ass man. We had grown ass man on tap in our wall prior to Tups having their.
But did you trademark it prior to them, or did you list it?
But it's not.
Say it doesn't count.
No, but it's okay because they call theirs full grown and ours is grown ass man. Ours actually has a story behind it. So
I like it.
So, but you have to come to the brewery if you want to hear the story.
There you go. I like it. Yeah, naming's kind of a hard thing nowadays. I feel like everybody has a lot of good names out there.
And you got to have something catchy to get people to. I mean,
it's challenging and it's good. We talked about it multiple times, but I mean, I think in your brewery you can have almost whatever name you want, but if you want to label and put it out there, that's where you have to kind of
as long as you're a brew pub, you're fine. I mean, it's the manufacturing breweries that can't do that because they can't put anything on their tap wall that's not TABC approved. Okay. So now that may have changed. That may have changed with the new law where beer to go was allowed, out of the manufacturer. I'm not positive, but I know before they could not put anything on their tap wall that was not TABC approved. Where as a brew pub, we can put anything out there we want,
right?
And we can sell as long as we sell to end customer, which means we can't, we can do whatever we want, but we cannot turn around and sell to a retailer anything that is not TABC approved.
Makes sense. Okay.
Well, I think the naming is really kind of key a lot of times for
people look for it.
I do. I one of the beers that I grabbed when I was up in Fort Worth one time is it. No Pantalones? Is it no or no?
Adios.
Adios Pantalones.
It's raw.
The whole reason I grabbed that beer is because my husband, it was the name. And my husband, when we were younger, we would go out many a times and he would get so shit-faced that he would take his pants off at the bar. Not only take them off.
This is why she married him.
And he would fold them and set them on the bar stool next to him.
There you go.
So when I saw that beer...
So is he a thong guy or has he got the...
Do we go ahead and shout out his name is Mike and
Yeah, so when I saw that one, Adios Pantalones, I bought it immediately and I had to give it to my
names
husband.
Are catchy. They get you. Damn them, because I get there and I'm like, I try it because the name, and I get the beer, I'm like, ugh, this is not what I want.
We're terrible. I mean, I'm at the brewery. I mean, we need to be able to turn around and have that type of thing. We just don't have that now, and it's totally my fault, my brother's fault. Eventually I'm gonna hire Nicole as a marketing person for the brewery.
Nice.
And part of her job every day is gonna have to be she's gonna have to taste beer, but I
taste beer and tell the name.
Tough.
Give us a name. It's a hard
owning a brewery is a rut.
I think I could do that. I really think that would be something down the road for me.
Who knew the name of a beer would be so hard though in the brewery world,
but you're right. It is. I mean, we're some of they come up with.
Maybe it's because you have so much other invested into it that you're not, where somebody else might be able to kind of take a swig of it and just know right there what to call it. Yeah, I don't know. We'll talk, Jacob. Just
naming the brewery alone was hard enough. So
ours is relatively easy, but I mean, and we're even in a process of thinking about because we are off the beaten path. We're thinking about opening a secondary location that's closer down. The place where Hell or High Water Brewing is right now, we were actually looking at that same place to move in Liberty Hill. And the owner said, well, you do know, he says that the building right next door is open and all that. And I'm like,
just have two side-by-side breweries?
There's nothing wrong with that.
That'd be pretty cool, actually.
Other states are like that,
Circle
though.
and
I
Hop
feel like
Squad
here
are
in
just
Texas,
like-
we get so...
well, you get
here in
all
Texas,
of them.
we get weird about it.
Think
But
of
They do,
Adelbert's,
and
and you think
I
of
enjoy having
Celis
them
and
all on
Austin
a
Beer
path.
Works
The
and
5A.
Blue Owl. They're
Yeah.
all right there, right next to each other. I mean,
Blue Owl's further south, but
they're all relatively close to each other.
A
Not too far
couple
off Metric
months ago, I was
Ave.
in San Diego, and like one street we were staying on had like 5 different breweries. I could walk to all 5.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
They all did well.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I don't get why here when you hear about there's 2 breweries in the same city. I'm like, who cares? Like,
I would think that's good for your business because
Yeah.
you're going to bring people in. Like you might have a crowd that's going to come, say from Austin or Round Rock that wants to come up to Georgetown and kind of check out things for the day and get to go to 2-3 breweries.
It's not even a competition. I think
No.
that's a misconception about craft brewery.
Well, that's
it's
it.
more
It
of
is.
it's more of a like
community.
friendship, brothership, community.
The community, the craft brewing community, especially within the Texas Craft Brewers Guild,
Yeah,
if you're
they're
part
great.
of that guild and everything like that, and you need something and you put it out on that, you're going to get probably inundated with messages from all the different members saying, "Hey, I have this. I can help you with that." They're not going to go, "Well, give it to me," or "I'm not." You're going to pay me before you. A lot of it, that's not the way it is. They'll just give it to you and go. When you either get your shipment in that you're waiting for, just give it back to us. I mean, they are more than willing. This is the only business that I've ever been in my lifetime where the rest of the community that you're dealing with is not out to put you out of business.
Right.
Yeah, that's
they
the
are
way it
here.
should be,
They are
though,
more
right?
here to
Yeah.
help you.
We're still us against the empire. I mean, and that is that company. We're still all
hell
against.
Carbach.
And as long as we're still all
I get that feeling he doesn't like Carbach.
He doesn't
really
like
at all.
he doesn't like Carbach.
I'm okay with that. They try to shoot down Shiner, and
you can't.
you can't mess with Texas.
Well,
you can't
considering
mess
the
with
fact
Shiner.
that I see
it's
that
like,
your guys' your 3 Beers In podcast banner has a Shiner right over top of it.
Yeah. Don't screw with Shiner. Well, they've tried to make with Shiner Box so many times now. Ziegenbach so many years ago. Now they
Still like a Ziegenbach every once in a while.
do you?
It's cheap.
That's
Lone
like the
Star's
old
cheap. Go Lone
Milwaukee.
Star, at
or
least. I mean,
where
Texas.
I'll
we're
drink some Lone
from,
Star.
that was they called
have
it
some Lone Star
Utica
in the
Club.
fridge.
If you've been to Rome, you probably have heard of Utica Club beer. Yeah, that you talk about. That's like making Old Milwaukee the high end of the spectrum when you had Utica Club. And there's some more hate mail going to come because there's somebody out there who's drank Utica Club and going, "Oh my God, you can't say anything bad about Utica Club."
Nice.
Utica
That's
Club
how I
is
feel
bad.
about Shiner, but I mean, I think Shiner's good. But it's just Texas thing. I mean,
Yeah.
when you're a Texan, you're like, there's certain aspects. Like, I
Kinda
will
like
never
Lone
knock
Star?
on Lone Star. Like, I
Lone
won't. They
Star.
haven't sold
Respect.
out.
No.
Not that I know of. They haven't sold out that I know of, and they're
Well,
they have.
It's owned by Pabst and was founded by Anheuser-Busch.
Boys,
I
they
think
sold
it-
out.
I think they are.
think it
Screw
began.
them, man. Yeah.
But they
Retract
had
that,
to,
please.
because they opened Lone Star because they couldn't sell their beer. To sell beer in Texas, you had to be Texas, so they opened Lone Star, and that became.
So
I think from the
fine.
beginning, it's been owned by.
Well, stick with
one of the
Shiner.
big
man.
guys.
Shiner's never sold out.
I mean, Revolver sold out. I mean,
Yeah,
Independence
that was-
sold
I-
out.
I
A lot
can't
of people
drink
sold out.
Revolver, man.
Carbach, when they sold out, it hurt me because I'm
did.
a Houstonian, and so
Yeah.
when I
Me too.
lived
Yeah,
there,
us t- well-
I went to Carbach before they had anything. It was
Yeah.
just a little
It's
crappy
okay.
brewery. and
Just
it was,
drink Eighth Wonder.
and it was
It's okay.
great. Oh, I love Eighth Wonder.
Yeah.
I love St. Arnold's. I'll never knock on St.
St. Arnold's is
Yeah,
good.
my cousin works
Their
for them, so I'm a
Oktoberfest.
big fan of St.
Nice.
Arnold's.
Hey,
He dresses
even
up like
Holler.
the.
Holler
he
Brewing
looks
out of
exactly like
in
St. Arnold.
Houston is really, really good too. So.
Platypus. There's a lot of good stuff
there's
there.
cool-
Oh,
Yeah,
there's
I know.
good stuff all
But
over
you know,
Texas.
it's weird. You go to Houston, the scene is barely broken through.
yeah, no,
I
nobody
I'm talking
cares
about the
about
last like
craft
3 or 4
brewery.
years.
Yeah.
It's just now broken through. Brash,
Brash, yeah,
Brash
exactly,
is great.
yeah.
We used to go to Brash a couple years ago. It's really starting to blow up now.
And there's still
That's
there's
good.
still a lot of room in Austin for more
Yeah.
and more to go out. I mean, the thing of it is like we're in Liberty Hill. There's now there's 3 of us. There is Sugar Creek, There's Hell or High Water, who are not brewing yet, and then us. And that's basically it for that.
There's always Hutto.
But there's Hutto. I mean, well, believe it or not, we actually got approached by the head of Hutto asking us.
Somebody else told us
to turn around
that they got approached by Hutto
and
as
they
well.
were they were willing to put a big. They
really
a
want a
big
brewery
check
out
out there that they wanted us to
Yeah.
come and brew. And I'm like, how can I put the San Gabriel River Brewery in Hutto when it doesn't come
make a
anywhere
lot
near
of
close
sense.
to that?
Hippo River Brewery.
Well, I think people look at Austin and think it's saturated, but when you go to
but it's
my
not
brother used to
even,
live in Loveland, Fort Collins area. They have more breweries in that Fort Collins area than they do in Austin, and that they have 100,000 people in Fort Collins. We have well over 1 million in the surrounding area.
Sure.
Here.
And there's one
It's
thing
just-
about beer: people will always drink beer. As
Yeah.
the economy is good, people drink beer.
Oh,
As the
yeah.
economy drops, people
Recession-proof.
drink more
Yeah.
beer.
To a degree.
Inverse correlation.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it does. It happens.
And
So-
Williamson County, I mean, talking about our festival, they're like, we're so far behind. I mean, we really are. There's so many breweries that still can come to Williamson County, and all of us will do fine because I feel
see, we
like
got a
there's
couple
plenty
months,
of people.
right?
Yeah.
There's
I mean,
plenty
there's
of
much
people
more
that
coming
can,
into Leander. I mean, you got Fifth Element.
Element,
Film
yeah.
is
Oh,
coming
Fifth
in.
Element.
I mean, Round Rock only has, 2? And now
Blue
I'll be
Bonnet.
the second
got
one
Blue
in
Bonnet.
Georgetown.
Yep.
So I mean, there's not that many.
We were
in
supposed to be
Round
the
Rock
second
and
one in
Georgetown.
Georgetown, by the way.
I know you were.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
What's-
we were supposed to be.
What's
so.
the name of the one that just opened in Round Rock? Or is it
Oh,
Pflugerville?
Pint House.
No, not Pine House.
Pine House has been around.
Pine House.
Well, I guess if we count Pine House, they have 3 because
Yeah,
there's
they
Pine
have
House,
several.
there's
Well-
Blue Bonnet, and then there's
Blue Bonnet's
What is
pretty
the new-
good.
they
just
took over
opened.
Idlevine. Idlevine Brewery is
oh,
there.
Compadre.
Compadre,
Compadre,
yeah.
yeah.
It's right down the road from here.
It's like,
Is
yeah,
it
5
Pflugerville
minutes.
or is it Round Rock?
That's-
It's
I'd say it's
Pflugerville.
Pflugerville.
Is it?
I think
thought it
it's
was still Williamson
Pflugerville.
County. No,
Is it not? Or
I'm not
'cause
sure. No, it's out
we're in-
45.
Yeah, we're in Travis right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it might be Travis then. So there's
Yeah.
only 3.
That's too bad about
If you consider
Idlevine
it.
because they actually put some really good beer out and everything
They
like that
did.
too. It's
Yeah,
just-
what-
they got over their
think
head. I mean,
they
that's
did.
really
They
what it
really-
come down to. I think that's my
100%.
understanding is that they got in way over their head as far as
Because
monetary.
they started
And-
canning pretty quick, right?
Well, and they had a
Yeah.
huge staff, and they had a huge. I mean, their debt load was. Well,
Yeah.
look at Celis.
Celis.
I mean,
I was about to say it.
Celis. I
yeah.
mean, she's and I'm friends with Christine and everything like that, and and
Daytona was saying they were almost out of debt right
yeah,
now.
well, and they're
but-
working back towards it. I
Yeah.
mean, but they just once they
They
were
just had
able
to
to
restructure.
right. Once they turned around, they were when they first started, they were brewing. They were contract brewing for several different breweries.
Yeah. Sure.
They were contract brewing all of Uncle Billy's brewing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which
You know,
they're,
and then
they're
they
not
stopped,
doing anymore.
which
I
they
mean,
stopped, and then
I
there
think
was another one that they
breweries
were
in general have a
yeah.
hard time right
Lake
now.
Austin was brewing there. I don't know if they are anymore.
But they lost
Yeah.
a lot of their contract brewing, which hurt them in a really big way.
Well,
So it's
Who was it that
Well,
was
they were
telling me that-
projecting like so
Yeah.
much growth.
They
It
were,
was
yeah,
just
they were
insane.
supposed to get to something ridiculous in like 2 years. Like they had a
Yeah.
2-year plan.
I don't know
And
who
it didn't-
bought
And
that.
they were supposed to
that
like
business plan because I read their
exponential,
business plan too, and I was
like,
like,
yeah.
"This is not going to happen." Like,
I
you
think
would have
they
to be
were-
the beginning of the market, and you came in the middle of the market.
And I
An
think they were banking
explosion,
on the
like-
name, right?
Well, the
Because
name
Celis
and-
has a history, so I
Yeah,
think they
right.
were really kind of banking on
and
that
they were
name,
hoping,
pushing them.
I know that she put. I know
do
from
make it
talking
good
to her,
beer, but-
they put. It was a couple $1 million into the beer garden that they were
Right,
putting
yeah.
in, and that's
Which-
what put her over the edge.
Yeah.
That's where because they thought that was going to be their end all beat all. That's where they're going to bring all these people in, and it just didn't. It didn't happen.
They released. I don't remember where it was, but they released like all their debts. It showed how much they owed to everybody. It was like
It was a lot of money.
crazy amount of money just to for electrical work, construction work, and all that. And then also Crosby hops and all that.
Yeah.
So I was like, where are they getting their stuff to brew now? Because they owe so much money to all these.
Well, and the
just
thing is,
for their supplies.
I think
Yeah.
a lot of them just probably continued just to keep supplying, just because of the fact that they knew that it's going to come back. And I
Yeah.
mean that's my opinion. It may very well be wrong. I mean, hey, I've been wrong on many other things, but I mean,
No.
again, I think. Oh no, really, yeah. Just ask my wife. If my wife was here, she'd tell you.
your work wife is here, and she'll
My
probably
My
tell
work
you you're
wife,
wrong.
she'll
Also,
tell me I've been
so.
wrong. I'll guarantee it. What was the statement that you were saying this morning that you text that you have
You're
put into your
wrong.
text
That
message?
sounds great. Thanks.
That sounds great. Thanks. Yes. If you get that text message, she's just basically putting you off and saying,
Yeah.
I think I've only got that
really,
once.
really mad at you. So, and I'm just trying to be nice.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
All right, so a couple more questions. After a long day of brewing or trying to find breweries for a festival, What's the one beer that you have in your fridge that you always have there that you look forward to at the end of the day?
See, for me, it's been our Dalamak, our Lazy Day Lager.
Yeah.
And we get done with brewing, that's usually the one that I go to. I mean, it's a light, it's only 3.43% alcohol, so it's really light in alcohol, but it still has good flavor to it and everything like that. So that's the one that I usually end up going to. Now, if I've had a really rough day at Habitat and I'm sitting there or doing something else, then I'll probably go for the Irish Coffee Porter, which is 9.5% alcohol.
Interesting. He went with Habitat and not his own brewery. When he said that.
Well, most of my stress, I have to say, lately comes from Habitat more than the brewery. But
because we have a lot of money to raise to build houses for families who don't have homes.
Yes,
that can be stressful.
It can be very extreme. Yeah. And I'm amazed that that Nicole still has as much hair as she does, because there's a lot on her shoulders to have to work, and I really do truly admire her
and
for
not being able to drink
on.
right now.
That makes it difficult.
So no MGD or.
Oh no! Well, you didn't ask him what.
I didn't say a macro beer. But
Wow! He's really throwing out the really bad names today, ain't he? If he says Budweiser, I might have to throw something at him.
No, people drink that.
Do you have a macro beer that you?
Natty Light.
Your kind of guilty pleasure beer that
the only thing, if I can't get something else that I like, I have to say that, and Corona.
Rolling Rock.
No, Corona.
Rolling Rock. Don't talk the Rolling Rock.
We've gotten a lot of
I'm a Yingling fan
High
from
Life.
Pennsylvania.
There you go.
Oh, Miller High Life. Yeah. No, I like the Corona, because at least with the Corona you still get at least some flavor with the beer.
Sure.
Where
It's all
Coors and Miller
skunky
Lite,
from the clear glass.
well, if you get something that's fresh, I mean, yes, you're right. The clear glass is horrible on it, but luckily I've only had one skunky Corona in my life, so
okay.
But I don't drink very much of it. So
yeah,
Nicole, what's your go-to, and then what's your big beer guilty pleasure?
Oh, well, as I was saying, I'm originally from Pennsylvania, so Yingling. And so
Yingling.
Anytime we have friends that drive down.
family owned, right? Are they still family owned?
I don't know.
I think they still are.
It might be.
I know they don't make the ice cream. Somebody else makes the ice cream, and they put their name on it.
No,
Actually,
I didn't know
he's
that.
like a cousin of the. He's not even.
I used to drink when I was in New York.
Yingling.
I drank a lot of Yingling
Yeah.
until it's really messed with my stomach for whatever reason. I can't drink Yingling anymore.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what it is, but I liked it.
So Yingling is kind of the bigger beer. What's the
Oh, I'm honestly, it's my husband's the one who always goes out and gets all the different beers, and so whatever's out there is, if it's some IPA, usually a hazy IPA is kind of
No.
He's like, no.
Except for Barking Armadillo's hazy IPA.
Yeah,
that was swinging well with you.
He just has to
it's
go
the best
across over
IPA
to
I've had.
knock
It's-
on the neighbor's door and get that. So.
Yeah, pretty much.
Hazy McHazy face.
Hazy face.
I don't know.
No. But
I couldn't think of a better name. I haven't had enough to drink. I don't know.
We need the rest of the guys here, and we'd come up with a name real
Yeah, we
quick.
probably would. Yeah.
see, I think what you got really this is my idea, and it's just coming to me right now.
Uh-oh.
And you should have
Heard
seen
it here
it.
first.
Could you see the lightning
Oh,
bolts
stuff
come down
coming
in?
down?
I think that you guys should set up the podcast at the Brewers Fest when we do the for. At
We'd
that
love
day
to.
of,
That's a
and
great
go out
idea.
there and set a table up, and you guys can podcast all day. We're there.
That's a
All day
better.
long,
That's a
yeah.
better idea.
Can y'all
Yeah,
do
'cause
it
we
live
could-
kind of thing, or?
Well, we can
so much-
we can do Facebook Live.
Yeah, we can
Maybe
totally do
parts
Facebook
like
Live.
that, but I just think it would be a really good idea. Something good. Maybe get all the guys together.
So
I mean,
for the Texas Craft Fest, we went, and as we were
walking
trying to
around,
walk
yeah.
around, we would strike up conversations or whatever, but then we'd forget to bust out the recording equipment because it's in this backpack, and it's like,
it's a difficulty.
But-
I actually think I remember seeing you guys at the Craft Brewers Fest because this year I didn't really drink much, so
Yeah.
I gave all my tickets to Nicole.
We were
Nice.
we were pretty much gone by the time they let all the regular people in.
Oh, you just
so-
were VIP only?
Yeah,
We actually got
were
media
there, but it was
passes.
just so
wow.
hot.
Oh,
I was like,
fancy.
I wish I could have taken a break and just laid down somewhere and then just come back an hour later and
Yep.
Y'all should set up like this.
But
That'd be
yeah,
good.
at the House for Houses
set up a
Festival, I think,
table.
set up
you
a
need to
table
come
or
out.
something like
if
that.
we set up a table, that would be a lot better, and we could just rotate
Yeah.
people in.
Yeah, you can retweet the brewers in and stuff like that back and forth. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be
Yeah,
a
we
lot
gotta
more
work
Once in a
simple.
while,
covered.
Nicole, I come up with a good idea.
I
I
hear that.
That was a
that's
great
great.
idea.
Thanks.
Yeah.
mean,
All right.
more work for you. I'm
I got
sorry.
from Nicole that was your one great idea of the month.
Yeah, that probably
that was
is
that
too,
work
right?
wife kind of
She's
he
like,
comes
all
up with
right,
a good
she gives me
idea without
kudos
me.
for that. So
Yeah.
it doesn't happen
It
often.
happens that
Don't get
way.
used to it. So
All All right, so Jacob, what's the beer that's in your fridge? What do you look forward to after a long day of drinking?
Or after a long day of brewing.
A long day of drinking. Well, I mean, that's just a continuation of anything I got at that point. But
brewing, drinking, same thing.
You know, the IPA we had here has been a go-to lately. We do a lot of saisons or farmhouse style, whatever you want to call it. It's not technically a saison. It could be a farmhouse style. I like a lot of those. We've done them year round, and we throw random fruit in there. We kind of experiment with it some.
What's your favorite fruit to use?
That's good. I mean, I'll tell you, we've used strawberries, melons, we've used peaches. You know, I'm not sure. It just depends. The biggest response we had is probably from peaches and strawberries. Yeah. Melon was a little... We actually had to add a lot more melon.
Yeah.
Melon,
We just brewed a table beer that we're going to actually throw an Asian pear in. And so Asian pear.
Yeah.
So Asian pear is not. So Asian pear is not as
I think I've had an Asian pear beer.
It's more tart than sweet. So with the table beer, we were trying to go in the hops we used. We went a little bit more of the tartness of the Asian pear.
Nice.
And it's in season now, so we would like to try to use seasonal stuff.
Right.
And we try to use for peaches, we use Fredericksburg peaches. Or strawberries, try to use Texas strawberries. Yeah. You limit yourself a little bit there because when there's not all year
Pasadena,
round.
you got the Strawberry Festival, right?
Yeah. But a lot of our saisons are kind of a good go-to because the funkiness of that goes great with spicy food. And so we eat a decent amount of spicy food. So the saison kind of helps with that some. I mean, everybody says IPAs, but I always feel like saisons do a little bit better with the farmhouse style because a little bit better with some spice.
There's so much to pair in the saison itself, really.
So how many of us have gotten the 25 beer case from Costco that someone thought was a really good idea? It's all the beers it was all German. It was German beers.
I've done that before. Yeah.
My brother got that for me for Christmas last year. You're supposed to drink it. You're supposed to have one beer a day and drink it. I still have some.
Oh, wow.
A year later. I was not impressed with a lot of the German beers.
Okay.
It's weird. Even in Germany, I wasn't.
Some of them were so strong. I mean, the flavor, that we got out of some of them,
like malty flavor, overly malty.
Some of it was really malty. Some of
Germans
it was
like their malts a lot more. I mean, the English will utilize the hops more, but not even to our level at all.
The lighter beer. Most of the ones that they had that lighter, when you get all said and done, it actually was giving me almost like a overcooked rice flavor. And I'm not really sure why that's the case, but if you've ever had something that where that
what it tastes like,
I mean, that's what I was getting a lot of that, and I'm not sure if that was just because that if these breweries are using a lot of rice in their beer, which
that doesn't sound like Germany.
No, it does. I mean, it doesn't.
Sounds more like InBev, right?
Yeah, they are the number one buyer of rice in America.
Yeah. I've tried to explain to people that over and over and over again.
Rice is not a good thing. They put it on the box, and it's like, what?
I mean, they're only using it for. They're using it for sugar. I mean,
it's just
a cheap way. It's a cheap way of bumping up the ABV,
and that way they don't have to say they use corn sugar.
Right?
So
without using American grains, they use foreign rice, but it's okay.
I mean. Our Dalamak, we use cornflake into it. We do use cornflake into it, but
I mean, a good Mexican lager, you have your maize in there. So what about big name beer? Anything in your fridge right now?
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. If there's someone gave me like a Bud Light, I'll drink a Bud Light. I'm not gonna say no to alcohol, but Mexican beers are probably my only big name beers that I probably buy on the regular. Modelo.
Yeah,
I mean, I love me a Modelo. I'll drink. I'll drink me maybe Dos Equis sometimes, but I don't really buy big name beer. Right? I mean, I guess Carbach, right? No, I'm just kidding. I've thought of them so many times. It's okay.
Love Street is still good.
No, it's not. Have you tried it before? They've diluted it. I promise you.
They diluted it?
100%. It does not. The old flavor of the Love Street was very Kolshy. Like you can get that flavor in it. You taste it now, it just tastes like Bud Light to me. It just tastes the same.
Really?
It's kind of. Go try it again.
I haven't had it in years.
The last time I drank it, I was just kind of like, this doesn't really seem like the same old Love Street.
It's not. That's how I feel too. I don't know. Maybe it's just like a misconception because I know they're owned by InBev, and
I mean, they did so well with Goose Island, right? Or not really. No.
Ross can go off on this. This is
I'm right there with you. I could go off, but I'm sure the people who listen don't want to listen to this. Complain about big beers.
Well, I think some people do.
I like my Mexican beer. So I mean, the craft beer world's starting to get into these Mexican lagers a lot more. And I think
now,
that's
once
Texas,
a year,
that's a huge
everybody's
thing.
got
Same thing.
Because there's so many Mexican restaurants that you can turn around and sell it.
Yeah, that's true. I'm interested to see if our brewed IPAs will come back hard this year for the end of the year.
I had like some that I didn't like, but then I had some that I really did like.
Yeah, it's a great New Year's beer, right? I mean, it's a great seasonal IPA.
I mean, that's what we all talk about. It's like if you don't want a champagne, you got a brute.
Yeah,
but Southern Star, their I Am Brute was really good.
It was actually pretty good.
That was my favorite, actually, out of all the brutes. Couldn't stand the body spray, though.
Oh, yeah.
Tasted a bit too much like body spray.
Yeah.
But anyway.
I remember that, too.
Yeah. All right. So anything else? Anybody want to talk about Barking Armadillo? Or
we'll just keep plugging the House of Beer Build. That's what we're not here for us. We're here for her.
Bring it back in.
That's
right.
What I was lead it to.
Yeah, no, just
these two guys in this room understand that it's all about her, not us.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But
it's all about habitat.
It's all about habitat.
February 29th.
February 29th.
2020.
Leap Day 2020. Hops for Houses Craft Beer Festival at the Williamson County Expo Center.
And again, how can people find tickets?
You can go on our Facebook page at Habitat Wilco TX under our events, and you can actually go to most of the breweries pages, the Williamson County brewery pages. You can go to Barking Armadillo or San Gabriel River Brewery on their Facebook pages. It's all posted there as an event to the Eventbrite link. I won't go off and say the www.//123. So you can find it there, or you can find it at williamsonhabitat.org under our events tab.
I feel like if you listen to this podcast, you should go ahead and just buy a ticket.
Yeah,
there's so much good beer there, and it's just going to be worth going.
Absolutely. And early bird pricing is going to be ending soon, and so tickets are limited on that one.
Can we say when the early bird pricing ends?
It's going to be in January, so it's right around the corner, and they're selling fast.
VIP is really worth it.
I would think VIP would be great, because if you really like unique beer, you're going to have a lot of unique beers you're not going to get with the regular festival. So
and you get in. It's nice for the VIP, even like when we have our festivals and stuff like that at the brewery. You get in early. You get you can actually talk to the brewery, where there's not a huge mass of people that you can turn around and actually get a chance to actually talk to people.
You can actually turn around, whereas
exactly.
once there's
we hope
big
later
crowd,
it's going to be so crowded that you're not going to be able to walk.
Right.
So that's the goal.
Yep. Yeah. And actually, at the Williamson County Expo Center, one of the things I failed to mention is they do have RV pad sites right there on
there
site.
You go.
They're limited. I can't remember. Is it less than 50?
Yeah, I think there was 35 or something like that.
51st person.
But there's I've already got 2 of them reserved. There's also there's a hotel right there too.
There's
like
Holiday Inn Express.
Like it's right connected to the parking lot, so it's easy walking distance. And I can't remember the code right now, but there is like a percentage off for anybody who buys tickets to the festival. You can get the percentage off at the hotel as well. Cool. So it should be a good time.
Yeah. All right. Well, we look forward to it, and all the listeners out there, I hope you look forward to it as well. All right, everybody, thanks for joining us. Be sure to get your tickets for, what's it officially called?
Hops for Houses Craft Beer Festival, supporting Habitat for Humanity.
There we go. Don't forget the Habitat for Humanity. Yeah. Thanks, everybody. This has been Ross.
This is Clint.
This is Patrick.
This is Nicole.
And this is Jacob.
And this is the podcast.
This is the podcast.
Thanks for sticking around. You can subscribe to us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, Spotify, BigHeadsMedia.com, or anywhere there are podcasts. If you like what you heard, rate and review us on iTunes. Check out our Patreon. Find it at patreon.com/3beersinpodcast. Check out all of our awards. You can give as little as $1 a month to help us keep doing what we're doing. It really helps out, and we'll give you a thank you on the show. Or for a little more, you can remain anonymous. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at 3beersinpodcast. Check out our website, 3beersinpodcast.com. You can find information about us and the show, along with the links to all of our episodes and our really cool merchandise. While you're on our site, you can tell us what you like, what you don't like. If you don't like us, then why the hell are you still here? You should have turned us off long ago. But if you're just going to listen to us anyway, you should probably subscribe too. And if you'd like a transcript of our podcast, write down everything that we just said.
Spiro Agnew.
myself, I'm gonna take this last bit and put it on the shelf. I don't wanna drink anything else.
And welcome everybody to what?
Wait, Brian, what are you doing?
Oh yeah, that's right. We're supposed to be recording a promo here, aren't we?
Aren't you supposed to tell people where they can find us?
Yeah, we're What the Hops podcast based out of Buffalo, New York. We like to talk a lot about beer.
A little bit about music.
And all sorts of random things.
So be sure to go find us wherever you get your podcasts and hit up all your social medias and search What the Hops and hit that like button.
Cheers.